fact that you said no twice makes me think
If Donnie
yes.
went, I would go.
Okay.
Because then it's like,
If Donnie jumped off a bridge, would you do it too?
well, Donnie jumped to the bottom of the East River, and I did it too.
So
Oh my
yes.
God.
Nice hat, Eric.
You like it?
It's giving Easter.
Pretty cool hat.
Is it?
Pastels.
It's giving train conductor.
It is also giving
Oh,
train
yeah.
conductor. But it's giving pastels, it's giving Easter egg hunt.
It's giving overalls.
Yeah.
Wait, what's
It's
that?
like they made my hat out of either overalls or like a
what's-
suit that a guy from
Seersucker.
New
Seersucker,
Orleans would wear to a
You're wearing
to
a
a wedding. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're wearing a seersucker hat.
Yeah, I am.
That's a good boat hat.
I had a,
When
Good
you get
point.
when you get in the playpen.
Yeah, I would rock this hat on a boat for sure.
I have a seersucker. I used to have a seersucker suit when I was little.
How
Every,
come
every
people in the
white
South,
rich white kid did.
people in the South
No, I
love,
was like really little.
love seersucker.
I love seersucker.
It's cool, but I feel like it's only big. You have to be like a one of the Huckabee's large adult sons to pull it off.
All right, so I'm looking up the history of seersucker because that's an interesting name.
Yeah.
Like what? Seer? Who's getting sucked off?
It's like Zubaz. It's like Zubaz for former slave owning families.
Zoo. All right. It's also called railroad stripe. So you're right about the conductor thing.
Okay.
It was a popular material in Britain's hot weather colonies. Okay.
Because it's light.
Yeah. So especially in the hot and humid South before air conditioning, it was the mainstay of summer wardrobe. That's interesting. Huh. It was the famous baggy pants of the Confederate Zouaves. Wait, what?
Oh, so it was like casual wear.
Wait.
Okay, wait, are those like? Was it?
There was a class of light infantry regiments that fought for the Confederates.
That wore seersucker as a
Yeah.
uniform?
Wait, this is crazy. I didn't know the Confederates used mercenaries.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, they needed everybody to fight for them.
Yeah. Huh.
Once you start losing, you can't
Wow.
you can't be picky about who's fighting for you.
There's a lot behind
The Confederacy also
seersuckers.
didn't they use foreign regiments as well?
Yeah, I think this is one of them. They were these Frenchies.
The Frenchies came over and
Yeah.
rocked seersucker uniforms.
Yeah, they
got their ass kicked.
the
Their
cheap
asses looked great doing
the cheap
it.
and durable materials used to make haversacks and even the famous baggy pants of Confederate Zouaves. Don't know how to pronounce it. Zouaves. They were a class of light infantry regiments of the French army. Huh. And linked to French North Africa. That's cool.
Oh, well, you put it on Do Not Disturb.
Okay, interesting.
So we just canceled your hat.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, it is a Nationals hat, so it should be canceled anyways.
Yeah.
They're dog shit. They're gonna be so bad. There's nothing more depressing than going into a baseball season just knowing that the team that you like is not going to be good ever.
Did you see how many people were at the A's game last night?
I did not. So my big competition this year is just don't be as sad as the A's. If
Yeah.
I can be slightly less depressing than the Athletics, then I'll consider this year a win.
They announced 3,400. It seemed like that was a bit exaggerated, but even if it really was 3,400, 11 of the 13 AAA games from last night outdrew the A's.
Why would you go to an A's game if you're an A's fan, knowing
I
that they're
wouldn't.
going to leave?
And can you imagine
It's
if
a bunch of cucks that go there.
if they're drawing 3,400 the first week of the season, what's it going to be in August?
I don't know.
Could they get a game under 1,000?
I'm fading them all year. That's my project.
Where are they going?
Probably
that
Vegas.
bad?
Possibly
They're-
Vegas or
Yeah.
Nashville.
So Arian, it's not like yes, they are bad. They're a regular, very bad MLB team. There's teams like the A's every single year. A couple years ago, they weren't that bad when they had the COVID rules. I think did they make the playoffs or they almost made the playoffs?
They've been in the playoffs fairly recently, but then they got rid of all their good players for close to nothing.
Yeah, and they're publicly announcing plans to move the team. I don't know if that's official yet, officially official.
I think they're still pretending they're trying to build a new stadium in Oakland.
But they're publicly flirting with Las Vegas and basically saying we want to move. So they're not going to continue playing baseball in their current field. They've made that pretty clear.
Dude.
So they're basically the A's are the saddest franchise possible this year. And if you live in Oakland, why would you ever show up to support the team that's going to leave next year?
What's up with Vegas still in all these Oakland teams? Is there something behind that, or what's
Vegas is sick.
I think good point, Billy.
A baseball game in Vegas is insane. I went to a Knights game in
Yeah.
Vegas. Imagine baseball in Vegas.
Knights games are a lot of fun. I think the impetus, sick word, PFT, behind all these teams moving to Las Vegas is that there's we're changing how we look at gambling, sports gambling in America. Whereas 10, 15 years ago, it would have been impossible to have a major league team there in any sport because people were like, oh, well, the sports gambling in Las Vegas is going to ruin everything. Well, now sports gambling is everywhere, so it doesn't matter if a team is in Las Vegas as opposed to like Kentucky, which just legalized sports gambling, or New Jersey or New York, which also has legalized sports gambling. So I think that's the main reason why teams are like, well, there's a huge market right there. People will come out to our games, and we don't have to worry about people looking down their noses because of the gambling aspect anymore. I think that's what it's about.
Love to see it. That's an interesting case study just in general for the human species. Is like you kind of created demand in a place where there's fucking nothing. You know what I'm saying? Just like in the middle of nowhere, you created the demand. It's like a hub for entertainment now. So you got the Raiders, the Oakland A's are coming, Vegas, and gambling, and it's like there's no natural resources that make humans want to live there. It's a desert. There's nothing. That's wild.
I mean, that's what a lot of the oil states want to replicate, like Dubai. Like, wait, where's the World Cup this year? Qatar.
Mhm.
Like Qatar is trying to do that, just make it a destination for like just a vacation destination. And Vegas is actually pricing itself out a lot. Like it's getting way more expensive than it was, and it might get to the point where it's cheaper to go to one of those states on the Arabian Peninsula than like going to Vegas, because it might be so much cheaper to like stay in a super nice hotel over there, because all those states know that natural resources is their base of their economy. So if they can build a tourism economy, like by having huge boxing matches there, by having like tons of events there, they can, make them like create demand that wasn't there before, just out of the desert. And that was like Vegas is their model, but there's a little more like laws that they have that Vegas doesn't, where you can have a lot more fun still in Vegas.
Yeah, you can have way more fun. There's certain of the petrol states in the Middle East where you can have fun. Qatar is not one of them. I mean, I had fun, but it was barely fun.
I mean, now looking back,
they not allow gays. They don't allow gay people there, right?
Yeah, not very welcoming of alternate lifestyles or different lifestyles.
skin.
Yeah, they do look down on a lot of ethnicities.
No, I'm just saying, just like open air skin. Like,
Just having your
show
skin
a
exposed.
lot more skin.
Well,
in Vegas.
they do look down on certain nationalities there too,
Yeah.
for sure. Also, there's just you have to like make an appointment in advance if you want to go drink a beer. You have to like make a reservation to get into one of the 4 different bars that they have in Qatar. They expanded the bar access a little bit during the World Cup, but it was still not very fun. You definitely felt like you were being watched every time that you had a drink in your hand, because you'd set it down and then the server would come right over, and you might be like halfway done with your drink, and they'd be hovering around you the entire time, and it wouldn't look like you were even close to done. They just like pick it up and scurry away and pour it away. They're like afraid of beer. It was like Billy around money when he sees cash. That's how people in Qatar were around alcohol. They'd see it and just be like staring at it, like, oh my God, what's it gonna do? Am I going to catch alcohol by being in the same room as it?
Yeah,
They looked at alcohol like cops in those videos look at fentanyl.
But remember what Donnie was telling us, or actually this may have been on Extra Dose, that he had some alcohol and the hotel staff like freaked out when they found that they had left it in the hotel room, because I think it's more that they can get into a lot more trouble than Westerners can if they're caught with alcohol.
That could be it.
Yeah, so they're like, there are consequences for them having alcohol. And then Donnie was like, they may have like poured some of the Jack Daniels out and then replaced it with water, and then they like stole the alcohol for themselves. It's just like, it's very much harder for them to get alcohol, so it's like a commodity that's very dangerous to them.
Yeah, there was one time I was pretty sure that somebody had broke into our place in Qatar, in the little apartment that me, Michelangelo, and Donnie had, because I came back inside and it smelled like cigarettes inside after we'd been gone for the entire day.
Huh.
Which is like, it's very weird. So
There might have been someone in there just inspecting, making sure
everything was above board.
all your fun. You now look back on, you're like, oh my God, like that could have gone so much worse.
Yeah, I mean, Las Vegas is great because you've got the opportunity to just like fuck around for a weekend.
Mm-hmm.
and get in some trouble and then leave. In Qatar, it's like the opportunity is you're not allowed to fuck around, but if you do fuck around, you might have to stay there for the rest of your life.
Also, Vegas, you can just eat like a glutton. That was my favorite part of Vegas.
The
I was
buffets.
eating like 6 meals a day because I'd like pass a new like restaurant. You know, you could eat your way around the world.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could eat something from every continent, almost every country, just like walking on the strip.
Mm-hmm.
It was amazing.
Yeah, Vegas food is undefeated.
Yeah. You can go to Vegas and have fun by not even gambling.
Or drinking.
Or yeah.
I could have a great. No, you can have a great sober weekend in Vegas. Now you have to make sure that you don't go hang out in places where people are getting hammered, because then there's nothing worse than being around a bunch of drunk people when you're sober, in my opinion. But
All right, take me through it. Walk me through it.
okay, so you
Wake up at 7 a.m. in Vegas, PFT. No alcohol. What are we doing?
Okay, so for breakfast we're going to the Hash House A Go-Go, and we're going to have a monster plate. Maybe their eggs Benedict that has a piece of fried chicken with a giant knife stuck through it. One of the best breakfasts you'll ever have in your life. Now, are you allowed to be hungover for this day, or is this day?
No, it's no drink. We're not drinking in Vegas.
Okay, I was asking if we were hungover. Because that would have made a
yeah.
difference. Actually, no, it would have
No.
started the same way. You go to the Hash House A Go-Go, you get the giant fried chicken eggs Benedict, delicious. Have a couple cups of coffee. Then after that, I'm gonna send us over to the Top Gun range, and we're gonna fire some automatic weapons. And
Okay.
That's dope.
that place is sick. It's a lot of fun. After that, we're going to go. We're gonna go play nine holes of golf nearby.
Okay.
And then after that, we're going to come back and we're going to go out to see.
Laser tag.
Well, we already shot guns. It's,
But now
I
you
don't
want
wanna-
to shoot other people.
I don't know about double guns.
You could go double guns.
I don't know about double guns.
Application of guns.
Because why don't we just leave playing 9 holes of golf and come back and go to Top Golf? It's too much golf. You don't want to double
Okay.
golf.
Okay.
Don't
So
want a
maybe we need
double
to do
gun.
2 sober days in Vegas.
No, I'm just giving one great sober day in Vegas. And you come back and then you go see Cirque du Soleil.
Okay. Who's playing?
New York.
I don't know. I don't know the different Cirque du Soleil.
Is the Michael Jackson joint still there? I think it is, isn't it?
You could go to that?
Yeah.
It
you can
was.
go
It was. Yeah.
You go see a show. No, but you know
Oh.
how I know you can do Vegas sober?
How?
Because tons of fighters love hitting the strip after they weigh in and just pigging out before their fight.
Yeah. I would say maybe after the show, you go to one of those buffets and
Yeah.
you just eat everything.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. We're at like 4 p.m.
No,
No, dude. You think about golf. Golf took
Golf
5
took
hours?
9 holes.
It's 9 holes.
Golf
9
took
holes.
2 hours,
2 hours.
and then so now we're looking at about like 4 o'clock. You get back from
5
golf,
p.m. 4, 5.
and then you go out to a show, and then you pig out at the buffet.
Or also you got to go to the wheel. Their London Eye. That's cool.
With the Ferris wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could jump off the top of the what's it called?
Oh, the sky thing?
Yeah,
The
shit.
drop. Yeah, there's roller coasters. You can hit some roller coasters, get some natural adrenaline.
What's the name of that place?
But 100% would recommend the open bar
I crashed
at
an
that Ferris wheel.
I crashed an F-18 into it the other day.
Oh, the Sky Needle. No, that's
it's
Seattle.
something else. Stratosphere.
Straight out.
Stratosphere. Yeah. I remember I was leaving a bachelor party in Las Vegas when I was 26, and I was maybe the most hungover I've ever been in my life. Going through airport security there, and the TSA agent, I'm going through, and he's asking me questions. He's like, "How is Las Vegas?" And I was like, "Yeah." I didn't know how to like process or speak. He's like, "Did you jump off the top of the stratosphere?" I was like, "What?" And he asked me like 3 times, and I had no idea what the stratosphere was. And I was just like, my mind, I don't know, maybe my mind is this broken that I'm not understanding the words this guy's saying. And he's like, since I'm acting so weird, he's like, "Let me look in your bag." And he looks in my bag, and I've got a tap for a keg in there. And he's like, "What is this?" I was like, "It's beer." He's like, "This isn't beer. What is this?" I couldn't explain it. And so he thought that it was like some weird device. And I had to try to explain to him using broken English because my brain is just, the synapses aren't connecting whatsoever. And eventually I was like, "It's a keg. It's for a keg." And then his buddy was like, "Yeah, you've never seen a keg tap before?" And then the guy got embarrassed and put it back in and sent me on my way.
Oh, you know what else you can do in Vegas? You can get like tons of IVs and like body like biohacking nootropic type stuff.
Yeah, people People always do the IVs there.
Yeah.
They're like selling B12 shots for like $15 each.
Oh,
Hell
God.
yeah.
You can really get jacked
You
up.
get the opposite of hungover there.
Yeah.
You could leave Las Vegas
Dude, the
feeling like
saunas.
$1 million. Oh yeah.
Dude, what
Go
are
to
you
a sta-
talking about?
go
We
to a
just
spa?
Sit in a Russian baths. Yeah.
They've got great spas there.
You can go to the pool.
Yeah.
Caesar's Palace has a great spa. Oh yeah, you can go hang out at what's it called? Stadium Pool.
Yeah.
Where
I
it's
don't
got
know, man.
it's got like a massive sports book and screen, and you can watch every game that's on from inside the pool.
That might be cool. I just know pools in Vegas are super fun when you got them giant margaritas and everybody walking around in water waist deep. That shit is kind of fun.
Yeah, I think it's possible to have fun in Las Vegas sober, but you can't be with a group that's getting hammered.
Yeah, that you got to be intentional about everywhere you go and everything. You got to plan it out. You can't just wander Vegas sober.
Yeah, agreed.
Mhm.
So hey, let's start the show from when Arian just said, "Nice hat, Eric."
Yeah.
I feel like that was a good starting point.
Yeah. Okay.
It is macrodosing. Thank you guys for listening. It is April 6th. It's Thursday. April 6th. Crazy. March is over. I feel like March should not be over until after the championship game. That should be the end of March.
When are taxes due?
The 15th.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you file an extension.
Got to file that extension.
Your taxes
I
due
did.
on April 15th, remember.
Thank you, Billy. It is
Thank you for reminding them.
It is April 6th. So you got 10 days. You got 10
I
days.
think it's the 18th.
Yeah, because there's a weekend, right?
Oh,
There's a
Yeah.
weekend involved.
Oh,
As always,
Never
this
mind.
I'm
show
for
is-
sure not doing it this weekend. Then.
All right, we're back. It's macrodosing. We're gonna get into Project Sunshine in a little bit, which is a topic that Arian suggested, and I was a little bit ignorant about it. So I learned something today, and hopefully I'll learn more as we continue to discuss it. But this is one thing that they don't really teach you in schools, for reasons that might be obvious after we get into it. But it's interesting. It's kind of creepy stuff, but I think you guys will like it. What else do we want to get into before we jump into Project Sunshine? We got the playlists. We got the playlist from Arian and Big T exchanging breakup song playlists, or as Big T put it, songs that will make you miss bitches you've never met. Is that right?
Not all of the ones on there are that, but if there are those on there, that's the high mark.
Yeah,
That's an A.
that's an A+. And then Arian, you also put together your list of breakup songs. Are they more angry, or are they more like I miss you and I want to cry?
More of the latter.
Yeah.
Cry Me a River, JT. Love that.
Oh, when I looked online and I tagged you in it, Aaron, I found the Chris Cornell cover of Prince, Nothing Compares to You. Did you get a chance to listen to that?
Okay. No, I usually mute things you tag me in because all your cronies blowing up my feed.
You got to listen to that. I'm not kidding. It's incredible. You'll love it. I'm trying to.
Send it to the group. I got you.
I'm
in.
trying to do you a favor here. And then while I was looking up covers of Nothing Compares to You, I don't know how this one slipped through the cracks. Miley Cyrus does a combination of Wrecking Ball and Nothing Compares to You, and it's fucking amazing.
yeah.
She does.
She's incredible. Yeah. Just a great. Well, no, this is what makes me mad. I respect Miley Cyrus as a musician, first of all. She's one of the greatest singers that we have
She
in
is.
our generation. She is legit good. And this happens a lot, whether it's like the Jonas Brothers, who maybe I'm not like a big fan of theirs or whatever. But when somebody becomes a child star, they're always looked at in that teeny bopper mindset where it's like, oh, Harry Styles sucks. He was in One Direction.
And you love Harry
It was a
Styles.
project band that was put together by managers.
Mm-mm.
But if you give kids that are very talented musicians enough time to like learn music and be around music, they're going to fall in love with it, and they're going to evolve as artists and end up being really good. And Miley Cyrus
Wait,
is
hold on. You said Miley Cyrus is one of the greatest singers of this generation.
She has
I-
a very good
Of her
voice.
generation.
I think she is. Aaron, you need to.
What define a generation? Because I'm
Well,
Like
She's
my
young.
age.
Yeah.
How old is Miley?
Yeah.
She's like 20.
No
30
chance.
I
something.
think
She's
she's
No
like,
chance.
No, I think she's like 29, maybe.
30.
She's
30.
30. So
what I'm saying.
Who's
what's
30
what's
with the
her
better
generation,
vocals?
bro?
Who's
Who's
30?
Ariana Grande will wipe the floor.
Okay, well,
Grande will
yeah.
wipe
Yeah.
the floor with Miley Cyrus, Beyonce, Jennifer Hudson.
Well,
No,
but
those are
they're
different.
older.
Those
Yeah,
are
that's
older.
that's the
How old is-
generation
what are you
before.
talking about?
How old is
Beyonce's
Beyonce?
what, 36? What are you talking
No,
about?
No.
37?
Beyonce's like I think pushing
Okay,
50.
Beyonce's not pushing 50.
What
I
are you
bet she's
talking about?
40.
Beyonce's old
Yeah.
in my
Beyonce's
eyes.
41.
late
41.
She's,
Okay,
she's
41.
pushing 50.
That's
She's
11.
not
Okay, she might-
pushing 50.
All right, man.
Okay, Aaron.
Jennifer Hudson.
Here's how I'll break it down. I would say
break it down.
10 years older and 10 years younger. You get 20 years, and that's like a generation, right?
Then she's not in the top 10. Maybe not in the top 20.
Disagree.
Of singers of the
She
generation.
has
Okay.
a really good voice.
I think you
I'm
might
not
be
saying
selling
she
her
doesn't have a
short.
good voice. I'm not saying she doesn't have a good voice, but there are divas in this generation, dog, that can blow, fam. Like,
Ariana Grande
Whoa.
is also 29.
Yeah, she's a great singer too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why we have to be
When
we
disrespecting
say-
one woman to build another woman up here,
Who's
Aaron.
the
Yeah.
goat?
I think they're both good.
I'm not the one calling women bitches. I'm just saying.
Hey, feminist
that-
tea.
That's Big T.
I'm,
No, it's
I'm,
not.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying to call her one of the greatest singers of her generation is a wild take.
When y'all are saying singers, are you talking about purely technical ability to sing or artist as a whole, like the songs they put out?
I'm not including the songs because a lot of songs are written by somebody else, so you can't always count that. That's a different category.
So you're just saying
Overall
how well
ability.
they sing.
I'm saying as a vocalist, she's one of the best vocalists of her generation. Point blank.
What do you get? What's the cutoff for one of the best? Like, is it like top 10, top 20,
Top
30?
10.
Like, what is it?
She's definitely top 10.
She's top 10.
No, she's not.
Tell me, I'll wait.
I will. Hold on.
I'll wait.
Don't wait. Continue to talk. I'm gonna compile my list of 10,
Okay.
and you're giving me 20 years of younger plus older.
I'd say 25 to 35 is a better stretch.
Sure.
Is it just women?
Yeah.
Okay.
Axl Rose
give
is
me-
the greatest vocalist of all time. That's just recorded.
Can you
Okay.
mute him?
All right.
Can you mute him, Maddie? I mean, can you mute him?
Axl Rose is the greatest vocalist of all time.
We've been over this. He has the greatest vocal range out of any singer.
Mariah Carey.
No, he beats out Mariah Carey.
Does he?
Yeah, we've talked about this, and then you guys were like, "Oh my god, that's an insane stat."
Axl Rose, I don't want to sound like I'm disrespecting Axl Rose by saying he's not the greatest singer of all time. That's not disrespect. That's just saying that's
Greatest
being realistic.
vocal range.
Axl Rose, good singer, very good singer.
Axl Rose has an incredibly diverse vocal range of 5 octaves and 5 semitones. He can sing very low notes, starting from F1, and very high notes to BB6.
Okay, so 5 octaves. What's Mariah Carey's range?
Can Axl Rose sing? Yep.
I want you to look up Mariah Carey's vocal
He's
range.
greater than. Yeah, it's better than Mariah Carey's.
Can you look up Mariah Carey's vocal range for me in octaves?
I'm looking. We've been through this already.
No, can you
on
look
the
it
show.
up?
I'm looking it up right now, and it's
What does it say?
Mariah Carey 5 octaves F2 to G7. Axl Rose 5 octaves F1 to BB6. Don't know what any of that means.
F1 to B flat 6. So that so Axl Rose's would be slightly higher by a minor third.
Yeah, that's pretty.
If
pretty
that's
insane.
correct, yeah. Well, I mean, it's very close.
Have you heard Rocket
It's like
Queen?
nearly identical ranges.
Yeah, but have you heard Rocket Queen?
I've heard a lot of Guns N' Roses songs, and I'm here to tell you Axl Rose is a very, very good singer. I agree with that. But to say that he's the best singer of all time.
Well, I think just the most athletic singer.
Okay, there we go. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like in terms of
Combine
ability,
numbers.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
that's what I respect.
Yeah, he's the number one. Just in terms of who's the guy that got the island for running? Was it John Ross?
Yeah,
The defensive back ran like a 4.21 or something like that.
But he wasn't. I thought that was a promotion by like Adidas, and he was wearing Nike cleats or something.
So he's
he
ineligible?
didn't get it. Yeah.
Oh, I think what they did was the next year, one of those companies said, we're offering an island to whoever can beat this time, but you have to be wearing our cleats.
what happened to John Ross?
I'm not sure. Arian, how's that list coming?
I'm compiling. Continue. Sure.
Okay, I'm going to send you the Chris Cornell into the group chat. And then you should listen to this. Chris Cornell is up there with one of the greatest rock vocalists of all time. I would say Dickie Barrett from the Mighty Mighty Bosstones. Probably up there too. Most people will agree with that.
Oh, another great cover, "Hurt" by Johnny Cash. He covers 9 Inch Nails.
Yeah, have we had this discussion before? Covers that are better than the original?
Have we?
So
Maybe like 2 years ago. We just don't remember.
Because there's a clear 1-1 in my book.
What's your 1-1?
Smash Mouth covering Under Pressure, originally by Queen and David Bowie. I'm just kidding. It's not awful, but it's Smash Mouth doing Queen, which doesn't translate. It's Jimi Hendrix, All Along the Watchtower.
Oh, yeah.
To the point where Bob Dylan said, yeah, that's Jimmy's song now.
Yeah. Dude, Jimmy.
Chris Stapleton, Tennessee Whiskey.
Who originally sang that?
That's a song from like the 80s.
I did not know that.
Let me Google it. George Jones did it, but his was a cover too.
Oh, you know what else? Atlantic City, Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah, the band's version is better.
No, Bruce Springsteen's cover.
No, Bruce Springsteen wrote it. The band covered it.
Really?
Yeah. The one that starts out with a mandolin going da-na-na, 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 da-na-na.
They blew up the chicken.
Yeah, that's the band.
The band covered it?
That's the band doing the cover, yeah.
David Allen Coe originally performed Tennessee Whiskey in 1981. And then George Jones did it in 1983.
I did not know that was a cover.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, that's Chris's song.
Precisely.
He does a cover of Nothing Compares to You also, which is great. I've only seen it live, but it's fantastic. Just one of the best songs ever.
Oh my God, I thought.
Yeah, Billy.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's the band that you love.
I didn't know the band. I like the band. Cripple Creek.
Adam Sandler does a pretty good cover of Werewolves of London by Warren Zevon. Like a legitimately good cover.
And Kid Rock does a very good cover of Werewolves of London.
That's what I love about that song. All summer long.
It's just the biggest ripoff of everybody else.
Kid Rock covered 2 of the all-time greatest songs ever inside of one song.
Which made
for another hit song.
Because it was the first time I ever heard any of those tunes. I remember hearing it for the first time. I was like, this is awesome. Like, I love this song. And then, like, I played it for my parents, and they just got irrationally mad. They're like, wait a second. This is Werewolves of London. and this is Sweet Home Alabama.
Speaking of Kid Rock, did you see Kid Rock? He shot a case of Bud Light the other day.
Oh
Yeah, that was
God.
so funny.
I only learned about this new boycott because of recurring guest on Macrodosing, Nick Adams, who posted about it. He did a video the other morning where he was standing outside of an Anheuser-Busch brewery, and he was like, "It gives me no satisfaction to announce that we have, as alpha males across America, we've decided that Anheuser-Busch is no longer for the American people. We will be boycotting all Anheuser-Busch products, no matter how cold the beers are, no matter how hot the waitresses at Hooters are that are serving said beers to Americans. Anheuser-Busch, you are canceled." And I didn't know what was going on. I was like, "What? I need to do some digging into why Nick is so upset about beer." And I guess Budweiser or Bud Light made a can that has a trans person.
They sponsored a trans person.
Dylan Mulvaney. She's a transgender TikToker who's like documented her journey on TikTok. Who I am obsessed with. I love her.
So they do these types of cans. It's not just for her. It's for a bunch of.
I guess
They have different custom cans that come out.
I just saw this with the whole this news thing, so I didn't know. But I think they did it with different role models or something.
Well, as a person, not to brag, who's been put on a beer can before
Flex.
by Coors Light, it's not just us. Like they do a lot of these kind of one-off sponsorships with people, and
the Bud's making the bros gay.
Yeah. and so Nick, I guess, is furious that Anheuser-Busch has done this, and so he's no longer drinking Bud Light. I'd like to welcome Nick to the Coors Light family. That's just
Mountains are blue.
Mountains are blue, Nick. But imagine getting that mad at what's on a beer can.
There are Rainbow Mountains too.
Okay.
Don't tell him that.
All right.
Don't tell him.
Good, great.
I like him.
Also, you know what my favorite new trend is people who go into Target and then have their friends record them as they find different like children's clothes that have rainbow patterns on them.
Yeah, do you think they get embarrassed? Like, do you think the friend that has to record them gets embarrassed?
No, the friend's in on it.
It's kind of like an Instagram boyfriend, except
Yeah,
it's just like
Yeah.
cancel culture boyfriend. Your cancel culture buddy that comes along with you, and they're just like, okay, all right, this is look, I found one with a rainbow on it. Let's talk about how Satan is inside Target right now.
Satan is inside Donnie.
Yeah.
And then how did Kid Rock get involved?
Kid Rock got involved because he's mad that there's a trans person on a beer can, and so he then shot his case of beer. But I think Nick Adams has. I don't know if he's gone to this length because Nick has been instrumental in the M&M's boycott, which was a resounding success because they made the green M&M less hot, and then they also had an all-female bag of M&Ms. To which he replied that he wanted them to have an all-male bag of M&Ms in response. So Nick's been able to get his voice out there because I think he said we're going to buy all the M&Ms that we can and then throw them away. And so I don't know if he's going to be doing that with Bud Light, just buying up all the Bud Light so that Kid Rock can drop like a cluster bomb on it. But yeah, Kid Rock's upset about that.
Can I tell a Kid Rock story that involves my dad?
Yes. Dad dog.
Yes, my dad. I hope he doesn't listen to this. 10 years ago, he went to a Kid Rock concert with like a ton of our like family friends, and was wearing like, you know, you guys met my dad. Was wearing like green shorts that had little sailboats on them. You know the vibe. And he got a temporary like huge tramp stamp of a Jim Beam logo. And it lasted for like 2 weeks
On his lower back?
on this whole back, like
That guy likes to party.
Yeah.
Now I really want to party with your dad.
and I was like, so 10 years ago I was 13 or 14, and it was just this huge, I have the picture of it, and it's just this huge Jim Beam logo on his back, and I didn't know who Kid Rock was because I was 12, but he came home from the Kid Rock concert with his green sailboat shorts and a huge Jim Beam tattoo.
Was that in Cleveland?
Yeah, it was.
Would that have been 2015?
13.
Okay, gotcha.
Why? Did he do something in Cleveland?
I saw Kid Rock in Cleveland in 2015.
Oh, really?
Did you put
the
a back
RNC?
tattoo on
It
someone?
was at the RNC.
Okay.
Yeah, so right after the first presidential debate where he called Jeb Bush gay, pretty much, they did a concert afterwards for the RNC, and Kid Rock was the headlining performer. He was rocking the like "Make America Great Again" hat. He was there to support Trump, basically, and I went to go to that concert. I was actually blown away that Kid Rock is a pretty good musician. He played every instrument on stage. There was one song where he like jumped around to the turntables, and he was smoking a giant blunt and drinking whiskey as he was scratching on the turntables. He played bass, he played guitar, he played drums, and he's a pretty good musician overall. But the thing that stood out the most to me from that show was I think they were playing American Badass.
That's what my dad's tattoo said.
Oh no shit, really? American Dadass. That's how I would describe your dad. He's the most dad person ever. I mean that with all due respect. But during the song, as like the heavy part kicked in, on the giant screen behind him, it showed one of the twin towers collapsing.
No.
Oh yeah.
And then
What?
And then Kid Rock's face coming out of the fire and being like just screaming. And then he started to just rock out on stage, and the crowd went nuts. And I took my camera out to try to get a picture of it because it was so unbelievable. Like, I don't know what message he was trying to convey. That Kid Rock was inside Tower 2.
No, I understand. That's Phoenix from the Flames. That's
like
that's like
Phoenix
American,
Rising?
where American Badass is coming from the ashes of 9/11.
I guess so, but it was 15 years after the fact. It still felt like that was too soon.
Dude, that's neocons propaganda playing the hits.
I guess so.
That's a weird image.
It was a very, very weird image.
Imagine if you're like taking like psychedelics and you're just watching that in the background.
Yeah, there's one dude out there that I was with SB Nation at the time, I believe, and so he was working with the RNC, and he got me into that show. And then every like couple years, he'll like hit me up, I think on Twitter, and just DM me or tweet at me and be like, "Yo, I'm the guy that you saw Kid Rock with at the RNC." I wonder if he's listening to this right now. If you are, shout out you for getting me into that show. What a time that was.
Dude, so getting back to when you're talking about those guys with the rainbows in Target,
Yeah.
and like seeing demon imagery. So Donnie and I went down to the Trump arraignment thing just to witness some history. I wasn't going to go alone. Donnie was like, we should just go. I was like, okay, if Donnie goes, then we can make some content. It won't make me look like I'm doing like actually there's support or be against. But it was wild.
If the courthouse had been overrun, would you have gone inside as a journalist?
As a journalist, I did have no.
The fact that you said no twice makes me
If
think
Donnie
yes.
went, I would go.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
then it's like,
If Donnie jumped off a bridge, would you do it too?
well, Donnie jumped to the bottom of the East River, and I did it too.
So
Oh my
yes.
No, because then it would be like,
Confirmed.
I don't know. But it was, the actual thing was once we got there, but we had a pretty scary moment going into the protest.
What happened?
This was pretty wild. It was, looking back on it, low key was a Mark Wahlberg moment.
Okay.
So basically what happened was, and the reason why I was mentioning those rainbows was because a lot of people I realized who were there protesting on either side, they were a lot of those same, like, look at this imagery and like a bunch of like scribbles, and they were just like seeing patterns everywhere.
Yeah, like numerology.
Yeah. But that's what just reminded me. On our way down, so like Donnie and I, we were gonna do an extra dose. Mad Dog and Mackenzie were sitting in the room with us, and we all sat down, and Donnie was like, "Oh man, look at the protest." Like, I was like, "Yeah," and I was talking about how it was a nice day outside. So Donnie was like, "You want to just go to the protest thing?" And I was like, "Yeah, fuck it, let's do it." Because like instead of podcasting, so we jumped on the train. We got shout out Zoopy and the guys who came. We were on the train, we were going down, and we were like, okay, this is gonna be hilarious. There's gonna be so many like crazy people there. Like, hopefully we can interview like a QAnon shaman type or some like crazy, person on the other side. And anyway, this woman runs into our train car and goes, I can't believe that guy was dressed like that. Like, I have a really bad feeling about this. And we're like, what the fuck? And we don't see the guy because he's in the other car, and this lady's like talking to the other woman. She's like, I think like, what do we do? Like, he really was up to something. Like, he was. And then I heard her talking about something about a backpack. I was like, what the fuck? So I was like, okay, let me see this guy. Like, let's see if like he's like dressed as a clown or something, because I didn't know if it was like a Mad Dog Subway situation where it was a guy dressed in a scary mask, like trying to fuck with people on the subway, because you see that a lot. But then we were talking, I was like, shit, whoever that guy is, he's probably headed to where we're going. So anyway, we get off at the stop we're supposed to get off at. The other guy gets out, and we see what he looks like for the first time. Ski mask, airsoft mask, body armor type stuff underneath a sweatshirt. You can tell, black gloves, completely covered. So my first thought is, oh fuck, like that guy looked very, intimidating. One, like looked like 100% if you were going to do like a mass shooting, you'd like dress up like that. And in my mind, I was like, holy shit, like this lady was talking about it. So we're walking towards it, and this is all going to be on stool scenes. So check it out, because it was fucking ridiculous. And he walks out, he's got a backpack on, and then I'm like, okay, you know what? He's probably just one of those paranoid people who know about the CCTVs in all of the metro stations, subway stations that like can do facial scanning technology.
Yeah.
And he's probably just trying like to not end up on a list, or if he's already on a list, he doesn't, if something January 6th happens, he just doesn't want to get caught by cameras and be identified. Anyway, that's what I was thinking. I was like, okay. So then this guy, all of a sudden we get out of the subway, and he starts like walking very fast and almost running like past us. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Like, geez, I'm watching this guy. I'm kind of tweaked out by him. Everyone else is sort of like ignoring it, but I keep watching him. And then all of a sudden he starts like looking around, and he starts grabbing like all over himself, and he's wearing thick gloves.
Yeah.
Thick leather gloves. So he's like trying to get into his pocket. I'm watching this guy. I'm like, what the fuck?
What's he getting?
Like, what's he grabbing for? And I was like, if this guy starts, so I started saying like, yo guys, watch that guy. If he like is about to take off his backpack, like I think we got to just tackle him. Because the scariest thing was he then took off his glove, and under his leather gloves were plastic surgical gloves. So we all remember who did that on this podcast, Brian Koberger.
Oh, right.
He wore plastic gloves to make sure his DNA didn't get anywhere. So anyway, I'm like, holy fuck, what? This guy's trying to hide. Like, it's one thing to try to just disguise your whole appearance, but this guy doesn't want to have his DNA anywhere. But then we're all freaking out. The lady who we just got off the train with is following him, calling the police. And then I'm at the back of the group. Donnie's pushing forward towards the guy. The lady's like, did you? So then Donnie actually starts talking to him, and he's just like, are you going to the arraignment? And then he's like, yeah, which way is it? And Donnie points him towards the arraignment. And I'm freaking out. The lady goes, did he say what he's doing? And so she's calling the police and running up to police officers. So I'm thinking, did she see something in his backpack while he was on the subway that we just don't know about? Like, is this guy like about to? So I start freaking out and talking to like Zupi. I was like, Zupi, like this guy, like this might be like a situation. Like, anyway, I'm trying to stay actually closer to him because I rather be
Keeping an eye on him.
No, because it was, if you see the video, it's like my heart was pounding. I was like, in the world we live in, it like someone targeting an event like that wouldn't be the craziest thing. And I know I'm probably sounding like extra tweaked out.
No,
right
I mean,
now,
like
but
it's a weird outfit to put on at any time. And if you're going to like a super politically charged event like that was,
yeah.
I understand being a little skeptical of that guy.
But anyway, what I realized now looking back, so this woman went up to multiple police officers on the way there, and none of them would do anything. So I was like, holy shit, like no one's like, if this guy wanted to, if he was someone on a list who was trying to avoid the CCT's facial scanning technology that would indicate, like, the anti-terrorism network in New York City is pretty insane, more probably insane than we know, that they can like know anyone who's in the city or out of the city.
I agree with that.
So I don't know. In the moment, I was like, are we about to walk in right after this guy and he's about to like whip something out and do something crazy? Anyway, Donnie
real
didn't
quick,
care.
Real quick, I've heard, I don't know if they actually use this, if this is implemented yet, but I've heard that there was software that they were trying to program that could, instead of facial recognition, because you can get around that with a mask.
Yeah.
They're trying to do walk recognition because everybody walks in a very specific, unique way. That's it's like a fingerprint. So they can like analyze your gait and how you're walking, and they'll be like, oh, that's Billy.
His biomechanics.
Yeah. Like you see the smoothest walker ever, and it's like, that's Arian Foster.
That's probably in the new TikTok app.
Yep.
Bill.
Yep.
Not app.
Yep. Analyze people's walks.
What I realized though, now looking back,
That's gotta be Stephen Hawking.
so once I was watching this guy the whole time because I was tweaking out and I like couldn't focus on anything else at that moment because I was like, I don't know, I was just on high alert, and he was in the crowd. And what I realized at the end of the day was when he didn't know where to go when he got out of the subway. He didn't know the directions, because think about it, if you're in a big mask
Yeah, you get
and
disoriented.
you have bad visual recognition because you're in like ski goggles and like a paintball mask. He was trying to reach for his phone but couldn't do it with the giant gloves he was on. But in the moment, it looked like he was like about to reach for something like around him. But once he got into the thing, he was just taking videos and walking around. And I mean, it totally sketched me out in that first couple seconds because this lady was like going nuts and she was speaking in a different language. So, like she had an accent, so I couldn't really tell what she was trying to communicate.
Yeah. So the guy, you kept an eye on him, and he only had a camera.
But yeah, he had a camera in his backpack. But in the moment, like check out the stool scenes, and we're gonna do a macrodosing YouTube on it. It's kind of funny. You see me just tweaking out in the moment, being like. So at one point I go to Donnie, I was like, Donnie, like, I think it's just easier if we fuck him up and just ask questions later, because it's way worse if something actually bad happens. And then Donnie's like, yeah, I just told him where to go, so like I'm almost like an accomplice. Like, I was like, what the fuck? Like, and then Donnie was like, you can't just fuck a guy up for having a ski mask.
Yeah, Donnie makes a good point.
Yeah, but I know it's pretty ridiculous. But in the moment, if you watch it, it gets pretty like heated, because why would this guy be going way later when we were going? We were late to the thing. He's showing up late. And it was a sketchy situation.
If you buy a ski mask, I'm not saying that you're about to commit a crime, but I have to imagine that a majority of ski masks are not sold to people who are about to go skiing, right?
It wasn't exactly a ski mask. I can't really describe what it was, but it perfectly like covered his whole it was almost like an airsoft mask, but it looked like intimidating as fuck. And he was just that was my first time ever going to something like that. So I don't know if that's typical. Like, but it was just weird. But once we got there, something I noticed, there was two groups. There was they basically divided the protesters perfectly. Great job by NYPD. And honestly, once we got to the event and saw the police presence, I felt more comfortable. But
Were there horses?
no horses.
I love it when the cops show up on horses.
My grandfather was a mounted police officer, NYPD.
Really?
Yeah. But felt way more safe. But like they totally organized it perfectly. But I would describe the QAnon right wing pool that were all there. It really reminded me of like a Grateful Dead concert, like the lot of a Grateful Dead concert, because there's all these older, just like people with like tons of badges and shit. And yeah, they're like
Facebook poison.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was just like looking around and I was like, what the fuck? And there was all these people there just handing out pieces of paper with just tons of scribbles of just like their writings in pamphlets. I was just like, what the hell?
It's like everybody there is trying to get everybody else to subscribe to their Substack.
Yeah, it was just, it was weird. We were trying to see if like Trump was gonna like come and speak and like take some videos.
I love the AI images that came out of that.
Yeah.
Spider, I was sitting next to Spider as this was all going down
He
in
kept
the
sending
airport.
me them.
Yeah. Spider he was just like refilling the clip with different Trump AI prison images. Like there was one of Trump in a prison cell reading the Bible very intently. There was one of him shirtless in the yard with a tattoo where he had like a six-pack. It was all jacked up. And then all the ones where he's like running away from the cops and they can't catch him, or like he's fighting the cops. There were a bunch. It was a great day for fake images.
Yeah, it was also a great day out. I'm so glad we did class outside.
It was a beautiful day.
It was just a beautiful day to
Field
go
trip.
to this. Yeah, it was really like, I don't know, everyone was actually way more peaceful and agreeable than depicted.
I would like to see a remake of The Longest Yard, but it's Donald Trump in prison and he runs for warden against the warden, and all the guards end up voting for him. I bet he could do that. I bet Trump could actually take over a prison. I don't know this for a fact, but I would imagine that the vast majority of prison guards in America probably were Trump supporters. Is that fair to say?
I mean, who is more pro or against the military-industrial complex? I mean, the prison-industrial complex.
I don't know this for a fact, but I would imagine that Trump was.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They might like know where to vote. You know, like who sponsors the best bills.
Yeah.
Like they probably have a union, a prison guard.
Oh, for sure they do.
That's like, this guy actually will vote to get more funding for private prisons, or so.
I think that's one of the worst things that we do in America is privately owned prisons.
Yeah. I mean, it's the immersion of it was directly after the war on drugs bill, basically, right? That made all the drugs illegal.
I just don't get how privately owned prisons are legal.
There's government contracts, because there's older prisons that are still federal prisons. Like the privately owned prisons are more like for specialized offenders, I think.
Yeah, like who's going into it? Like, how do you get into a privately owned prison? And is it worse for you or better for you?
It's probably worse.
Because there's no like standards.
Yeah,
is it like when you go to a
because-
private school versus a public school?
Yeah.
Well, it's a business. They're trying to make money, so they're cutting costs at any available turn.
How do you make money from a prison though?
You get contracts to build the prison. You get contracts for the food, for all the infrastructure that goes into it, to pay the guards, things like that.
So you're getting contracted for all of that?
Yeah, you can get a government contract for orphanages too.
And
There's
But
something
that's like an objectively nicer
right.
thing.
But
they claim that by being able to privatize it and have a for-profit company running it, that they're able to do it more efficiently, and it costs the government less money to pay this organization that has experience in like building prisons and running prisons. You can give them a check. I don't know how much prisons cost. Let's say hypothetically, here's $50 million to build this prison and run it for the foreseeable future. And if the federal government tried to do it themselves, because of all the red tape, they would end up spending $100 million doing the same thing. But the danger is when you give it to a private organization, they run everything for profit.
Right.
So they keep a much, much closer eye on all the expenditures. So you start to see cutbacks in like safety, maintenance, healthcare, food, things like that. So it becomes just an awful, like prison's a bad place in general,
Yeah.
but they just run it into the ground.
Okay.
So something
That
like
sounds-
And also then the argument is if you're paying somebody money to do it and they're running it for a profit, they have an interest in doing more business, and the best
And
way to do
getting
more
more
business
prisoners.
is to get more prisoners.
Okay.
And then they lobby for laws that are harsher and not necessarily in the interest of the American public, but more so in the interest of
of
themselves.
getting more
like
prisoners.
stricter drug laws or things like that,
my
because
God.
more prisoners is better for them.
Said. That's just
I
well
hate
said.
that.
That was just well said.
It's honestly it's gross that we have
That's really
private prisons in America.
fucked.
Yeah.
Is that a new concept? Is that like not a like that came into being more recently?
I don't know when it starts. I know that we've had more conversations, but it's been
Yeah.
more prominent in the last 20 years.
so private prison population has increased
1980.
by 32% since 2000. Yeah, 1980, right after the war on drugs
Right.
was declared.
So it's increased, would you say 32%?
32% since 2000.
Okay.
But however, the private prison population has actually decreased by 16% since 2012.
That's really fucked. I don't like that.
Yeah, but it's what's, goes behind a lot of these laws.
Arian,
Oh.
how we looking on
Are
the
y'all slowly becoming leftists? Is that
I-
what I'm hearing?
I think that
I'm hearing.
I think most sensible people can agree that privatized prisons are not good.
Also, privatized orphanages kind of run under the same system.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yes. I've
Oh.
I've looked
yeah.
into that.
In New York State, you can get $200 a night to house orphans. So,
So
if you
privatization in general is sounding.
well, I
pretty
think
bad,
for
guys.
for social,
Got you.
I
When
just
it comes to business, though,
I
good.
just don't get.
I think we shouldn't make businesses out of stuff that should
For
be
social services. Yeah.
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 Right.
So how are they trying to make more orphans if there's a lot of money? More wars?
Well,
Well,
actually,
if you put their parents in prison,
Yeah. Good point.
They're working together.
yeah.
Connecting a lot of dots here.
Whoa,
Whoa.
that's so fucked.
Yep.
Are orphanages still like a thing though? I mean, I know they're a thing, but I feel like I don't hear about orphanages as much
well, because
because they're
there
private.
aren't as many orphans anymore because less people give up their kids to adoption
Oh, okay,
because there's other alternatives.
got you.
Are you just saying abortion?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can say that.
Yeah. I don't know
think
what
that's it.
I don't know what the stats behind if we actually have fewer orphans or if we just hear about them less.
Right.
But there were
Wendy's.
for a while
Wendy's takes care of 'em.
Oliver Twist.
Well, because
Annie.
people
Annie.
used to like abandon babies at
Like
the
at the fire pit.
doorsteps.
Yeah.
They're actually in Italy, in Florence. There was this orphanage that basically had a drop box for babies.
They have that in the United States.
They do.
In certain fire departments, there's like a door that basically
Yeah.
you can put the baby in, and then it opens up into the fire department, and you get an alarm that says that there's a placement,
Yeah, so you don't have to. So the baby stays doesn't get left out in the cold.
and that you don't have to make contact with anyone.
Actually, a really totally different sphere of top kind of emotion. Like on a lighter side, there's this prankster who's dropping off lifelike baby dolls at frat houses in a baby carrier
Oh my
and getting
God.
their reactions where some hungover dude opens the door and just like, holy shit, someone dropped off a baby. And they
funny.
pick it up
Rat baby.
and they call their people and then so they're like, don't touch the baby, don't touch the baby. And before they realize it's fake, they're like these dudes being like, what do we do?
Right. That's probably how they really learn about each other. Like if they're like, do we take this baby in?
Mm-hmm.
Are
Yeah,
they-
you
are
see,
they,
someone just
are
comes
they
out of the
good
back.
enough people?
Someone just comes out the back, I'll take the baby.
Yeah.
that person's a good dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like when Arian's brother volunteered, like, I'll leave. I'll pack up my suitcase.
Yeah.
It's like it was a joke. It was a joke, but now we know that you're ride or die.
He earned his honor.
Yeah. I one time I pulled a prank on my friend. I bought her a one of those fake scratch off tickets
Oh,
that
has
says
those
that you're a
words.
winner. This was in college, and I gave it to her, and she scratched it off, and it said that she won $50,000. And she was like, "Holy shit! Oh my god!" She flipped out, and she was like, "I'll give you half." And I was like, "Now I feel awful because you just
Rider though, hey,
yeah."
that's
Right.
a rider though. That's a rider.
Ken Jack did that to a bunch of people in the office maybe a year ago. He did it to me. And I knew the ticket looked weird, but I was like, okay, dude, like, why are you giving me this? And I scratched it and it said 10 grand, which is like just a believable enough amount of money that you're like, holy shit. Like, it was obviously not real.
Yeah.
How
Did you volunteer to give him any of that back?
No.
How shitty?
You already have to give 2/3 of it to the government. Why would I give any of the rest to Genja?
Yeah.
How shitty would you feel if you gave one of those a fake ticket and they like had a reason like, oh, I'm gonna pay off my
Pay my student loans.
my parents' medical bills.
Oh God.
And then you're just like, oh shit.
I haven't told you guys this, but I've been heavily in debt because I've been paying for my sick brother, and this is going to take care of the rest of it. And then it's like, actually, it's not real. Sorry, man.
Yeah. For a second, I thought you were
April
actually.
Fools.
Wait, so did I.
So for a second, you
No.
got really. Yeah.
No, I was doing a character of
Yeah.
somebody that just got a
I know.
got a fake lottery ticket.
I was like, your brother's sick.
Arian, best
Yeah.
female
I'm looking up
vocalist.
looking at these orphan statistics in 2021. According to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, on any given day, 391,000 children are living in the U.S. foster care system, and the number has been rising. Over 113,000 of these children are eligible for adoption, and they will wait, on average, almost 3 years for an adoptive family. 53% of the children and youth who left foster care were reunited with their families or living with a relative. That's actually staggering. 25% was adopted. I just wanted to get a little data behind what we was talking about.
I think COVID actually increased orphans in the United States.
That might be a factor. It doesn't really give an indication as to why. I'm sure if I keep reading, they will. But I'm gonna give a quick fact check. Yeah, I got your. Okay, so it also depends on how we are categorizing the generation, right? When I look up generation, it's anywhere between like 19 and 20 years, right? That's a generation, right? Like when they say Gen Z, Gen X, whatever the case may be.
Yeah,
that's a generation, right? So if we're doing that, and Miley Cyrus is 31, you said
30.
she's 30, so you got to give me anybody that's like 40 years old. I'm sorry, 50 years old.
no,
Well,
At
like
least
20 to
49, at least
40.
49.
no. I'd say
Before and after, that's her generation.
no, but I'd say you said 20 years,
Right,
so,
but 10 either way is 20 years.
so anyone who's
Okay, so
between
either way?
20 and 40.
20 and 40. Okay, so that takes away Beyonce. Okay,
Yes.
it's still fine. Okay, you got Rihanna, Adele, and Ariana Grande, Lady Gaga, Jennifer Hudson, although that might be Kelly Clarkson, Demi Lovato. You took away
Demi
Nicole.
Lovato.
Nicole
Scherzinger?
Yes, look her up. Scherzinger. There's this new joint that's blowing her out of the water called Iniko. Fire. And there's plenty more, bro. But it's one of the best of her generation is a wild statement. I understand she's talented, but there's just plenty more.
I think she's in the top 10 of those people you just named.
Yeah, she is.
She's
Who
better
can she
than
blow better than that?
Demi Lovato.
She's better than
for
Demi
sure.
Lovato.
Okay, cool.
They were.
I just-
they,
I don't know that that's true.
I don't mean it as
Y'all-
disrespect
for
to
whatever
Demi Lovato, but
reason,
Miley is that
y'all love
good.
Miley Cyrus. I don't know.
Demi
what it is.
Lovato in her prime
I don't
could
know.
belt.
so could Miley Cyrus. I saw Miley Cyrus in concert.
Name one Demi Lovato song.
What does that have to do
Skyscraper.
with
If
vocal
I ever did-
ability?
Heart
What does that have to
attack.
do with vocal ability.
Oh, yeah, listen to Heart Attack and tell me that Demi Lovato is not a better singer than Miley Cyrus.
I think Miley's slightly better. I think Miley's definitely in that list.
I think Miley's the
arguing about
modern
Demi
Dolly
Lovato.
Parton.
Well, it's familial ties.
Yeah. I think she is like the torch has been passed from Dolly to Miley
Why? Dolly is why?
because maybe it's just because Dolly and Miley are like friends.
They're not.
Isn't it her
It's her
godmother?
godmother.
Yeah, yeah.
They're friends.
The torch was passed by God from mother to child.
Jennifer Hudson's 41, so it doesn't count.
Okay, Jennifer's the
Because I would give you Jennifer Hudson.
So where do you put Miley
I
Cyrus
give you
on his
10.
list?
I give you 10.
Can you say him again?
Yeah. I gave you 9. I'm sorry. Rihanna, Adele, Ariana Grande, Lady
Wait.
Gaga,
Slowly. I'm gonna go one by one, and I'll tell you if she's
Rihanna.
Mm,
Better artist, maybe?
There's no reason to have this conversation anymore. Then
better artist, technical from a singer aspect. Okay, I'll give you Rihanna.
Nah, I mean, if we talking about that, we just
I'll give you
how you
Rihanna.
guys- how's your guys' day going?
I think Lana Del Rey is a better artist than Miley.
But we're not having that conversation.
I know, totally.
Okay,
different, but
Jennifer
I gotta
Hudson.
give Lana her flowers.
So no Rihanna. Okay, I'll give you Rihanna. Adele, I'll give you Adele.
Thanks, man.
Lady Gaga, I'd say it's close.
Get the fuck out of here, bro. All right.
And then who else did you just say?
Kelly Clarkson.
I think Miley's better than Kelly Clarkson.
Yeah.
Okay. Nicole Scherzinger.
I'm not familiar enough with her work, so I can't say whether or not. Just being honest.
I hear you, man. I think you're a Miley Cyrus fan, and that's okay, and there's nothing wrong with that.
I think we need to really talk about Lana Del Rey's artistry.
Good job, Billy. Good for
Yeah.
you, Billy. Get in there.
I didn't know. I don't know if she's under.
Lana Del Rey.
What is? How old is she? I don't know.
I think
she's. I was gonna put her on it
She's
too.
probably in
She's
her 30s.
37.
Damn.
Oh,
She mean
she's-
her before Miley too.
Billy, did you know that there's a tunnel under Ocean Boulevard?
Yes, I did. Tulsa.
Ugh.
No, I've been a Lana stan for years.
I think Miley's firmly top 10. And that's my take. Nobody's mentioned Taylor Swift. Interesting.
Oh.
I wasn't part of this discussion.
I don't think her vocal range is that
Yeah.
of Miley's.
I've
will-
never heard Taylor
Look
Swift sing
that
something
up.
and be like, wow, that was an incredible
Yeah.
singing
I think
performance.
she's a very, very good singer, and she's a very excellent songwriter.
Storyteller
Mhm.
more than anything.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and like performer. She's the artist.
Yes.
But I don't. Yeah, I mean,
I'd say Miley blows her away in terms of vocal ability.
Like
It's
like
not blow. It's not
belting.
blow.
belting and stuff. Taylor Swift doesn't like
She's-
belt.
Miley Cyrus is around 3 octaves, and so is Taylor Swift.
I mean, I love that woman though.
Yeah.
But I would say
I love
she
all
probably has
women.
a little more vibrato and
Thank
voice
you.
control.
People were upset that Joe Biden invited both the Iowa women's basketball team and the LSU women's basketball team to the White House.
I think that's just
It's politics. Iowa votes first in the primaries. It's very simple. You don't have to look too far into it. If it was,
I don't even think it was that deep.
I
bruh.
think it was
just don't.
sexist, to be honest.
I know.
I think it's sexist as fuck.
It's trivializing women's basketball.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this was such a great moment for women's basketball. Let's invite both teams.
Yep.
Like, which you would never do with men.
but if it was Stanford, if Caitlin Clark played on Stanford and they had a great finals against LSU, I don't think Stanford gets invited. I think it's Iowa. They vote first in the primaries. It's the most important state.
Oh, I just think it's like Caitlin Clark.
I mean, if they
She's
run,
an icon.
I mean, it doesn't
her-
matter.
Maybe she invited them to the White House because she wanted to organize a game between them and just watch it herself. In which case, I would be like, yeah, that I would watch those teams play again with good referees.
Yeah.
Arian, did you watch the women's final?
I did not.
It was a great game of basketball. Besides
I heard,
the refs,
man, I heard it. I heard it was. I didn't even know it was on. Honestly.
yeah, LSU was just insane in the first half. Just made everything, and then Caitlin Clark is very, very good.
Angel Reese, no problem with what you did. You're
No.
allowed to talk shit as much as you want.
Yeah, if you have a signature celebration that you use against other people, like when Caitlin Clark did the you
Yeah.
can't see, which is not, as Arian educated us, that was not
Yeah.
a John Cena move. But if you do that, then somebody else is allowed to do that to you if they beat you. That's just how it works.
Totally
I had
forgot
mine
to talk
done
about
to me
this.
many times.
People bowed at you.
Not at me, but like if they scored or got a pick or whatever. I've seen it.
Classless.
If anyone got a TFL on you, would they bow in the backfield? That would probably be the worst.
I think a couple times that happened. Yeah. But I didn't think anything of it. I'm like, shit, you got me, dog. It is what it is.
And
Yeah.
no offense, that's kind of a good one to like do back at you.
Yeah.
the bow.
Yeah,
Because if
it's
you're
kind of good.
if you're a defensive lineman, you don't score touchdowns.
No, but if you bow, like it's kind of
Like
that.
bow in the backfield.
Yeah, no offense, but you
Yeah.
made a good
I don't
move for people to do back to you.
Did-
Who's that?
Oh, those-
receiver for Green Bay, 89. Back when I played, something Jones or something.
Oh,
Aaron Jones.
Greg Jennings?
Jones. No, I wasn't Greg Jennings. Something Jones. I don't know. He did it. That one was weird because he's on offense. You know what I'm saying? That was the weirdest one. I was sitting on the sideline. I was like, okay, I couldn't stop you. I'm on offense too, my G. Like that one was weird.
That's
That
almost
was
a sign of respect when somebody on offense does it.
No, he kicked it. So like he bowed and then he kicked.
Oh, he kicked
Like,
the bow.
Get it out of here. Or whatever. Yeah, that was just odd because I was like, nigga, I don't play defense, man. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Did Yumin Yora bow too? the Giants?
Yeah, he
DL?
he did that.
He did, yeah.
They jacked him and Justin Tuck jacked my shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, both of them.
What
Justin Tuck started jacking it first though.
when they were doing it, like, have you ever spoken to them about it?
Nah, it's not that deep to me. I think it's a dope gesture. I see a bunch of people do it since then. I don't know if it's because of me, but I think it's just dope.
Yeah, they wouldn't do it if you weren't good.
True story.
Same thing with Angela Reese or Angel Reese. She wouldn't do the "you can't see me" if Caitlin Clark wasn't very good.
I mean, Caitlin Clark was getting so much like stuff over the whole tournament, where everyone was like treating her like she was like this golden girl. Not that she didn't, wasn't backing it up with the performances, but didn't like Angel Reese have almost a better performance throughout the tournament?
She had a very good tournament, but no, Caitlin Clark had like the best statistical performance of all time.
But didn't Angel Reese have like 34 triple doubles or double doubles? That was more than any other
Throughout the regular season.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I mean, they're both very good players,
Yeah.
but I think Caitlin Clark had like an all-time great, like the best season ever of any women's college basketball player, and one of the best seasons of all time for any college basketball player. And Angel Reese had, again, one of the best seasons of all time, but she was just kind of unlucky that she played in the same year as Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
'Cause she got all the accolades.
I think when you do something like that, if you're Angel Reese, you just open yourself up to getting trash talk. Like,
You mean if you're Caitlin Clark, if you do the
right. So both of them are open. Like, the more you do that, if you're just someone who's just like total nose to the grindstone hustle, and someone does that, then maybe you'll see like, oh, you shouldn't have done that player. Like, I see that. But if you're openly going back and forth and competing and talking shit throughout the whole tournament and regular season, then of course, like, if you're gonna get like dunked on basically at the end of the game while losing, there's nothing wrong with that.
yeah.
Like,
I think every now and then sports reminds us that there's still a very real racial undercurrent in this country. Every single time, sports like keeps that shit. It doesn't keep it alive because it's there. It just keeps it. It just keeps it on the. It reminds us. It's a friendly reminder, like, hey, still here, because it's obvious what happened. But I mean,
Okay, so here are the season stats. Angel Reese, 23.7 points, 2.3 assists, 15.9 rebounds. Caitlin Clark, 27.7 points per game, 7.5 rebounds, 7.2 assists. So Reese is a much better rebounder. Not to say she's a decent rebounder, but Caitlin's assists and points are better.
just to say,
I like that they're both coming back, though. I was talking to Titus about it. They're both coming back. This could be our Magic versus Bird.
yeah,
And the Magic, clearly Caitlin Clark, and Larry Bird is clearly Angel Reese.
they're gonna get paid more in NIL than they are in WNBA. There's no reason for them to leave.
Right.
I think there's also it shows the difference between people who never really played competitive sports and people who actually did in the reactions, like on Twitter.
Let's go.
I think that's the biggest one, because like, I don't know, even in pickup leagues, like, I half of the time, like, I get excited to just go talk shit to other people for like an hour. Like, it's like therapy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
And my son got sat. Well, his mom pulled him. That's a whole nother conversation. But his coach sat him because he kept scoring on kids, and he hit him with the too little thing. You know what I'm saying? When you score on somebody, you say too small. His coach sat him because he kept doing it. I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Just, I don't know. I feel different about that shit. That's to me. I don't fuck sportsmanship. I don't care about that shit at all. Like, I told him, there's reasons as to why you got sat, but you're not gonna it's not coming from dad saying, hey son, we need to maybe. Nah, fuck that shit. Talk shit to them little niggas. And then after the game, dap them up, say good stuff, respect the performance and respect the competition. I'm not saying take it off the court, but I'm all for the shit talk. I think that's what makes sports fun as shit, bro. Like, that's why golf is it's only now growing so big, because it's just so fucking dorky. Like, you can't talk shit. It's just I don't know. That's just me though, man. I just talk shit. I love that shit.
Yeah, and if you don't like the people that are talking shit, then stop them, and then you can talk shit to them. That's always a great moment, is when somebody runs their mouth too much, and then they get burned. That's what I loved about the matchups. It was Jalen Ramsey, and who was he trying to guard? It was
Gronk?
Ramsey. It might have been Gronk, There was some dude that burned him.
Oh, when Gronk tossed that one cornerback out the club,
Yeah,
and he was talking shit to him, and then Gronk just literally threw him into the stands.
yeah, that was nice. It was shit. Who was it? It might have been
Or no, Jalen Ramsey when it was against
Diggs.
the Bills. Diggs.
I think it was Diggs.
And then
yeah.
Josh Allen humped his face.
Yeah,
Josh
that's
Allen
what
was
it
just humping his face at the bottom of the pile.
If you're Jalen Ramsey, you're really good and you're talking a lot of shit. And then Stephon Diggs comes in and burns you deep twice. I think he scored 2 touchdowns on him, and then got up in his face. And then Josh Allen put his dick into his face while they were on the ground.
After running him over.
Yeah, that's part of the game.
Oh, that was.
You better be if you're gonna. It's like the saying from the song in the Jackass movies. If you're gonna be dumb, you got to be tough.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna talk shit, you better be prepared to get face fucked.
Because you might phase, like, with that attitude, you might phase like 80, 70, 85% of dudes who like have the skill but don't have like the mentality. But then you're gonna get caught by those 15%, 10% dudes that are gonna prevent you from winning a championship.
You're gonna run into a dog.
Yeah.
And some of the most iconic moments in sports are shit talking. Like,
Oh yeah.
you remember Reggie Miller, the choking with the Spike Lee shit?
Yep.
Like that type shit, bro. That's what spurs rivalries, dog. That's what makes sports. So all this shit is goofy, man.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's why people tune in sometimes is to see. Okay, Reggie Miller did the choking on his throat thing to Spike Lee. Then guess what? Everybody's going to tune in and watch the next time the Pacers are in town playing the Knicks.
Muhammad Ali changed boxing. He changed the sport of boxing by talking shit.
Yeah,
And then backing it up. And then and that's, to me, that's what sells tickets, is because it's like a lot of people tune in because they love him, but a lot of people tune in because they hate him and they want to see him lose. And that's what spurs that shit. Like Mayweather, the same shit. Talked a lot of shit, but back that shit up.
Jake Paul, everyone was more tuning in, seeing him get knocked out.
Listen, what we're not gonna do is have a
You got
dialogue,
You got to
which
say
a sentence started with Muhammad Ali and ends with Jake Paul.
no.
Fuck
That
outta here.
it's the thing is you got
fuck
to
outta here,
give
B.
flowers where it's due.
outta here, B.
Boxing
No,
has not
nigga.
been
No, nigga.
at this
No.
level
No,
since.
nigga. No, nigga.
I'm just
No.
saying he's
outta here.
he's sold tickets. He's
No.
created the
No.
buzz around
Don't
fights.
care. So crack
You-
sales
you
doesn't mean
can't-
it's good, dog.
Yeah, exactly. But we're talking about the difference between just being good and then the extra element.
Billy, you and Jose Canseco sold a lot of tickets, but I wouldn't.
It was terrible
I
boxing.
wouldn't consider you to be one of the greatest boxers of our generation.
100%.
You are one. You are 1-0.
Yeah.
Muhammad Ali lost a couple fights. Billy
Yeah.
hasn't.
Fair point.
Oh, fuck, man.
Would you go to jail to protest the draft, Billy? If you got drafted into Ukraine,
I don't know that whole that whole.
would you go fight and die for Hunter Biden, Billy? Billy is the Muhammad Ali of our
because the thing is-
generation.
No, the thing is, I wouldn't fight for Hunter Biden, but like the plight of the Ukrainian people is 100%. The war they think they're fighting is 100% just.
Billy would be like, he'd be like, no Russian has ever called me Proud Boy. Why do I need to go over there to fight?
Oh man.
All right. I was talking boxing. This episode of Macrodosing is brought to you by Gametime. Shout out Gametime. They're getting us into all the events. Big T, you and Arian are going to go see a baseball game together.
Are you not coming
When is it?
next
Tuesday?
week?
Next Tuesday? Next Tuesday night?
I thought everybody was coming.
I'm down. Yeah.
We're all invited.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm in.
If you got other plans, I mean,
No, I'm in 100%. I just heard you guys talk about it last week, and you mentioned Big T and Arian going to a game together.
And you and Billy and Mackenzie.
Okay.
and me.
All right. Awesome. I'm sorry. I'm a little bit scatterbrained. I feel like I've been traveling for a long time.
Game Time has enough tickets for everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
My dad just texted me he used the code Macro to get tickets for
That's
this weekend.
very cool, Dad Dog. We used Game Time to get into the Final Four this weekend. Big Cat did not. He was stuck up in the rafters. We had Game Time, myself, Memes, Hank, Rico, Security Pat, who's a delight to be around, Security Guard Mike, who's also a delight to be around. We were sitting great seats right at half court. Had a great time watching FAU play against San Diego State. And it was because of Game Time. They got us in there, also getting us into the game next week. I can't wait for it. It was created by fans for fans. Game Time is the ticketing app that makes it easier than ever to score last-minute deals on tickets to sports, concerts, and shows. They guarantee the lowest price. We've got Drake, Billy Joel, Mets, Yankees. If you're in New York, you can go to a concert. I bought tickets to go see Frank Turner through Gametime. He's coming here in like a month. I can't wait for that concert. It's possible with the Gametime app. The biggest last-minute price drops can be found on the seats that you thought that you could never buy. And the process is super easy. It takes 2 taps and 10 seconds. And once you buy your tickets, they're delivered directly to your phone. Also, if you're trying to share tickets with friends or family members who might not be super technologically literate, Gametime is the easiest way to do it because you can share tickets via text. So you get into the game seamlessly, skip the hassle, enjoy the moment. There's nothing worse than that moment when you're trying to get into a game or trying to get into a concert and you haven't done the whole ticket transfer thing to your friends yet, and you're trying to figure out, you're logging into your accounts. Guess what? You forgot what your password is. You have to reset via email. You're standing outside just waiting while everybody else is passing you. With Gametime, it's the easiest way to do it because you send it via text to your friends. Get into the game easy, skip the hassle, enjoy the moment. Download the Gametime app or go to the website, enter your email, and redeem code MACRO. Get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Mad Dog's dad used it. He got in. Use promo code MACRO. $20 off your first purchase. Some terms do apply. All right. We're back. Anything else we want to get into before we start talking about today's topic?
Brazil and China made a deal to de-dollarize.
De-dollarize?
A lot of de-dollarizing going on
What are they doing?
across the world. They're agreeing to do their trade. They used to do it through the U.S. dollar. Now they're doing it through their own currencies,
Okay.
which is kind of low-key. Just the dollar getting weak.
Is it?
Might be getting weak.
I don't know enough about currency exchanges. I know that some of my friends tried to do Forex trading.
Oh, that was the biggest scam ever.
Yeah.
I literally, I once, there was a guy who we shared the same bathroom in college, and he was like Forex trading. I was like, dude, like, you're going to realize, like, these guys trying to teach you these, like, lessons to, like, how to do Forex trading. Like, it's a pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
And they're using they're sending out these messages of when to buy stuff. Like, they're profiting off of your guys' movements. And he's like, no, what are you talking about? This kid was smart too. He was a econ major.
Yeah, I knew some smart people that tried to do foreign exchange.
Yeah. And then then I found, like, I once heard him in the door over, like, calling his dad, being like, dude, I'm in debt. And I was just like, fuck, dude. Like,
Yeah, you can.
these guys are predatory.
You can lose a lot of money. I think they do prey on college kids.
Yeah.
Because with the videos that they put out, they make it seem like it's pretty simple to do. And if you're a smart kid in college, you can figure out what they're teaching you and be like, oh, well, yeah, I can do this. Like you said, I'm an econ major. I understand how global exchanges work. Okay, I understand what this guy's saying. But in reality, when you try to put it into practice, you lose a shitload of money. Some people make money, but you
make money in the beginning, and that's what gets people involved, because there's a certain, like, I don't know exactly how it works, but like he came out, he's like, look, I made $1,000 like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, is that just when you started? And he was like, yeah. I was like, what did you do with the money since? He was like, well, I put it all back into Forex.
Yeah.
So
how's El Salvador looking with the whole Bitcoin thing?
Let's see how Bitcoin's been doing since these bank collapses.
I think it bumped up a little bit.
It's down.
Okay.
It's down back to 20. It's down
It's like
today.
every time there's an economic scare, it goes up, and then everybody realizes, we're good, and it goes right back down.
No, so from a month ago, it is up a lot. I don't know when. So it was 20K. Now it's up to 28K.
Okay.
So it's actually maintained a little bit of its value. If we see more banks collapse, hopefully, like, we can figure out when one of these banks are going to collapse and, like, make some money off Bitcoin.
Yeah. All right, Billy, that's your next assignment.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, on the trademark assignment.
Yep.
We can't get the trademark.
Okay. Why not?
Because it's the cost benefit of applying isn't.
What's the cost?
Well, no, it's. Hold on, let me get the Slack.
It's third floor stuff.
Paul.
We just have to submit it, but hold on one second. Yeah, Paul is the lawyer. 90% of the time, it doesn't pay to register because registering costs over $1,000 just to apply. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I might have to just do it.
Yeah.
And then I'll own to the
Yeah, go for it.
I split it with you, go 50-50.
Okay, deal.
Let me know.
All right, so Arian and I now own the Duluth
Owners
Esquimals.
of the yeah.
Do you think they would take Bored Apes as currency?
Oh, I got to see how the Bored Ape market's doing right now. We were down last time I checked. Oh, good news on the Doge front. So since I didn't sell and it cost me a lot of money, I actually ended up making more money using the money that I pulled out of Doge betting on the national championship game than I would have if I kept it in.
Oh,
So how about
Nice.
that? It was the best gambling night of my life.
oh, really? Good for you.
Yeah, it was incredible.
So, what's Doge at right now?
I don't know. Is
Dogecoin,
that the moon
'cause-
yet?
Doge, it's still Doge is down. Doge is up.
Plot twist.
Yeah, if you would invest in Doge on April 3rd at 4:30 p.m. and then
That's approximately
you would have 10 times your money.
3 hours before I pulled my Doge out.
Yeah, if you invested on April 3rd then sold it.
10 times
On-
your money. That's chump change. I invested when it was so small.
Oh my god, if you had bought it 4:30 p.m. and then sold it at 7 p.m. on Monday, April 3rd Eastern time, you would have 10 times your money.
Well, let's see what I bought it. Oh, I don't have it. I can't look at my stats anymore because I sold all of it.
How the hell does that what happened there? I mean, it's an unregulated security.
It was started as a joke to make fun of Bitcoin, and then it just became something that people invested in.
I know there's Dogecoin billionaires who actually just have bought the dogs as an ode to Doge because they're now they made $1 million.
Yeah, if I was on the moon, I would get a Shiba Inu. That dog is still alive, by the way.
The Dogecoin dog.
The Dogecoin dog. I saw it being pushed around. I think it was being pushed around D.C. with the cherry blossoms and like a stroller. By the way, shout out D.C. This is the best time of year if you're thinking about going to visit our nation's capital. Cherry blossom time, baby.
I was there this weekend. They take those cherry blossoms very seriously.
They're beautiful.
On the window of every business is cherry blossoms.
Yeah, if you put cherry blossoms on a T-shirt, you have to buy it.
It's
if you live in the
all
DC
that's
area.
there.
You
Yeah.
have cherry blossom merch.
I got a lot of a lot of it. When the Nationals unveiled their cherry blossom collection last year, bought that. I've got DC Old Glory cherry blossom uniform. It's cool. It's a cool thing that the city has.
If you touch them, people yell at you.
Yeah, they're protected.
Yeah.
My great grandfather has a tree
Mm-hmm.
with his name on it right off the tidal basin in DC. Pretty cool.
Whoa.
Yeah. Sick flex. All right. Anything else we want to get into before Project Sunshine?
Oh, there's a Trump mugshot T-shirts for sale on the Barstool store.
Okay. Nice work, Billy.
I had a whole plan to release them if his actual mugshot got released, but it never did. So
Did they take one and it wasn't released?
no, they never took one.
That shit would have gotten leaked so fast.
I know.
Even if they said don't leak this. So yeah, go check out Billy's Trump
Why
mugshot.
didn't he take one?
Dude,
I think because he wanted one so bad. I think the courts were like, well, he clearly wants to use this to make money. So
Well, you have to be like processed through a jail to get that, right?
Yeah,
Which he wasn't. He just showed up to an arraignment.
yeah, he wasn't
Epstein-
arrested, wasn't handcuffed.
He was arrested
Well,
technically,
but he wasn't.
Yeah.
He wasn't handcuffed and all that
right,
stuff.
and he didn't. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anything else, guys? Or you guys want to jump into it? Let's get into it
In
then.
an hour and a half, I think we can jump into it.
Project Sunshine. Billy, you and Arian seem to have spearheaded this. Arian, you were the one that suggested it, actually. Where did
Yeah.
you hear about Project Sunshine?
I was just looking up like dope conspiracies. I don't say dope, but like conspiracies that were actually ended up being true. That's I was more interested in that because we spend a lot of time to talk about shit that end up it's easily debunkable or whatever the case may be. So I wanted to do one that was actually ending up being true.
So it was.
And
yeah.
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna reiterate that fact.
You kind of sounded like Billy right there. When are we going to do real conspiracies?
Well, nah,
Oh.
because I think a lot of time it comes from not just Billy, but like we'll do something where it's like, yeah, well, this didn't turn out to be, you know what I'm saying? And it doesn't lead from much
No, I know what
conversation,
you're
but it's-
going for. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what's fascinating to me about it is there's really, and originally when I first saw it, it was called the Dead Baby Project, and that's what really caught my attention. I was like, yo, what is this? And so I started reading up on it a little bit, and it was kind of wild, man.
Yeah, medical testing on United States civilians, which has happened.
Not just medical testing.
Right, but this type of stuff has happened before. There was a precursor to it.
I know it happened like a couple months ago.
Well, no, precursor means before.
Oh.
Yeah, where the U.S. government in 1950 conducted a biological warfare attack on the city of San Francisco.
Oh yeah.
Did you hear about that?
Yeah.
So there was a Navy vessel that used giant hoses to spray a fog of two kinds of bacteria, Serratia marcinensis,
It's a bioweapon.
and Bacillus globigi, both believed to be harmless at the time, into the fog, where they disappeared and spread over the city. And so nearly all of San Francisco received 500 particles per minute per liter. 500 particle minutes per liter. In other words, nearly one of the 800,000 people in San Francisco exposed to the cloud at a normal breathing rate inhaled 5,000 or more particles per minute during the several hours that they remained airborne. And they studied the reaction to that. They've also done releases of bacteria in the New York City subway system, on the Pennsylvania Turnpike, and in National Airport just outside Washington, D.C., and none of this was released to the United States government by the United States government until a 1994 congressional hearing of it. So there were some people that died during this testing, mostly people who had already been sick and receiving treatment for other diseases. But yeah, a bunch of people got pneumonia from it. They tried to sue, and with a heavy enough exposure to it, it could have killed them, and it did kill some people, but it could have killed a lot more. So yeah, the United States government does have history of experimenting on its own citizens.
One day we got to do Plum Island Animal Disease Center.
Is that the one that the Montauk Monster came from, allegedly?
Allegedly, but that was just a sea-swollen raccoon.
Got it.
Off the coast of Montauk.
Got it. So what did we learn about Project Sunshine? Who wants to give the full background into it? Billy, Arian?
Yo, I just learned about something new.
I love that feeling.
This shit. This is actually wild. Okay, so a little bit of background is it's not that complicated, but it's kind of wild. I think in 19 what was it 53 the U.S. government. Well, okay, this is what I learned new. I kind of want to get this off. Willard Libby.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a dude by the name of Willard Libby who was a Nobel Prize-winning chemist, and he's actually responsible for the development of radiocarbon dating, and so he's like a very well-known chemist, and this is like a wild archetype of like the mad scientist. So what I just learned was that I can't believe y'all
Yeah.
give the background. I just want to
All
read
right.
them and make sure this is accurate before I fucking say this shit.
In 1955, in a post-World War II, kind of right beginning of the Cold War, the Atomic Energy Commission was trying to figure out some of the impacts of this new nuclear world we were living in. One of these was urging researchers, the specifics of testing, and urged researchers to use their own contacts in order to gain functional research on how nuclear weapons might impact a population. So they're conducting a bunch of tests, not only on animals, soil, but trying to figure out what would happen after a bomb dropped.
Yeah, so the problem they were trying to solve is they came out with this brand new technology, which was nuclear weapons. And at the time, we should do it when the Oppenheimer movie comes out. We should do a macrodosing on the development of the atomic bomb in the Manhattan Project. I think that'd be
We
fascinating.
should all stand in front of
That's literally
microwaves.
what I'm reading about right now.
Yeah,
We should all just stand in front of microwaves for a while, just like to make sure we get nuclear takes off.
agreed. Agreed. So the problem they're trying to solve is we just invented atomic weapons, and when they set the first one off, they didn't know if it was going to like destroy the entire Earth, because this was all kind of theoretical stuff that they'd come up with. And as we developed a big stockpile of nukes, and we knew that Russia was building their nukes, we needed to figure out exactly how effective they would be and where would be a safe distance away to station troops if we're setting off a nuclear weapon. We needed to do models of if we launched a nuke that hit, on the east side of Moscow, how would that affect the city as a whole, depending on where the winds were blowing at the time, with the radioactive fallout, which is the stuff that a nuclear bomb produces that can kill and injure people and give them lifetime diseases. If enough of that radiation hits their body, it just destroys all your cells. So you might not get hit by the blast, but you get the radioactive fallout, which could then also kill you either immediately over the course of a couple of days or over the course of years. So they had no idea in practice what that would look like and how they could model what each radioactive blast, the damage that it would cause. And the only way that they could do that, according to them, would be to find subjects and expose their bodies to certain levels of radiation that they could then use to say, okay, a nuke that is this big will affect this person if that person's 20 miles away from the epicenter of the blast.
So specifically, they wanted to figure out how strontium, radioactive strontium 90, would impact individuals, because they had a decent amount of research on some of the other radioactive isotopes. Nuclear scientists, feel free to correct me. I don't know if that's the exact right term for it. But this
How
guy,
many nuclear scientists do you think listen to this podcast?
Oh, a bunch, and they're just laughing the whole time.
They listen to feel better about themselves.
Yeah.
Like, I'm really smart. I just heard Billy try to explain strontium.
Yeah. So Dr. Willard Libby, who's sort of the head of this Atomic Energy Commission, who then they put together this project, Project Sunshine. It was the Sunshine Commission, and basically the genesis of where this gets really takes this evil turn, and we'll just put it in Dr. Willard Libby's terms. They needed specific test subjects in order to see the impacts of strontium 90 on human tissue. Dr. Willard Libby said, "I don't know how to get them, but I do say that it is a matter of prime importance to get them, and particularly in the young age group." This is on test subjects. So human samples are of prime importance, and if anybody knows how to do a good job of body snatching, they will really be serving their country.
Body snatching.
So what ended up happening, almost 1,500 samples of cadavers were babies and young children, and were taken from countries from Australia to Europe, often without their parents' consent or knowledge. And up to 44 stillborn or premature babies were taken from a Chicago hospital during this body snatching. It got so bad that in one particularly grim example, a stillborn baby's legs were removed by researchers in the UK, and the mother was told that she couldn't dress the baby for the funeral to conceal her from the fact that her legs had been taken for the project. What they figured out after, stealing a bunch of babies' bodies was that strontium 90 had a really negative impact on the youthful cells in human bodies. And I don't know how much.
So in science, body snatching or just experimenting on cadavers, dead bodies, is a pretty common thing. You can choose to donate your body to science, by the way, after you die.
Right.
You can contact your local university and be like, hey, I give you permission to use my body to either conduct studies or to teach classes, dissect my body. And a lot of people choose to do that. I don't know if...
Yo, you don't hear something?
I've not chosen to do that, but...
no, but you know what's
I'm
fucked
doing
up?
it.
You're doing it?
Yeah, I'm 99% sure I have CTE, so I definitely want them to have my brain to study along with the rest of my body. I ain't gonna do shit with it, so might as well
Pay it forward?
Yeah.
So, a crazy story. My buddy was in med school. Someone in his med school class. In med school, you all get a cadaver.
Mm-hmm.
A buddy in his med school class realized that he knew one of the cadavers that were donated.
Oh.
That's pretty creepy.
He was like, "Holy fuck, that's Mr. Whatever." I think it was like his science teacher, from like high school, but like they were in a very different part of the country. So like I know they purposely try to ship him, but he was doing medical school in a different part of the country. And it was just by chance. And in his science teacher was like, I'm donating my body to science. I'm a science teacher. And then he ended up finding him like in his like, I don't know, 3rd year med school. He was like, holy shit, that's Mr.
Can you get out of a test if you like know the cadaver?
That would probably be the weirdest thing. It turns out like, I don't know, my buddy in med school, cadavers do like weird stuff.
Go on.
Their dicks get huge.
Okay.
Okay.
Apparently.
Is this true?
Yeah.
It makes me feel a lot better about my own eventual autopsy after I pass away.
Yeah, it's apparently it's a thing like after death there's like rigor mortis and like tons of fluid gets in that area.
I know that your extremities swell.
Yeah, so you're just like sitting there like
With a stiffy.
and all these dudes just have mash like
All right.
that's what I heard.
That's cool.
That's like he is actually really interesting.
That's where necrophilia comes. There's people who like to have sex with dead people.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that 99% of necrophiliacs are dudes.
I have no issue.
Doesn't seem like something chicks would really get into.
What percentage
might be
of
right.
morgue workers do you think are necrophiliacs?
Percentage?
Convicted or
it-
estimated?
It's probably a very low percentage. It's just that it's probably a higher percentage of morgue workers than people that work in other places
because
where they're
the
not around.
access.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the access, and if you self-select into becoming a worker in a morgue, I'm not saying that all of them do, but you're probably more likely to have that predisposition than other lines of work. Does that make sense? Where I don't think it's super common, but I think that if it happens a lot of times, it's somebody that works there.
And probably if you work at, if you're like, oh, like you're on like a speed dating, you're like, oh, what do you do for a living? Oh, I work in a morgue. I do
know-
the embalming.
Mhm.
I know a lot of people that own funeral homes, and it's like you have to go to mortician school, and like
How many people do you know that own funeral homes?
there are several families in Cleveland that have like large funeral home.
Are you in with
Empires.
the mortician mob?
One of my best friends from high school, or two of my best friends from high school, are in that field.
That's weird.
Yeah, not me, but
No.
When they tell like if you're on a date and you found out that they were a mortician, would you?
funny story. My friend, her parents own a funeral home, like not conglomerate, but large business in Cleveland, and her dad's family is the one that does it. And her mom and dad, on their first date, he picked her up in a hearse with a body in the back.
No way.
Well, it must be a pretty big.
How did that work out?
Was that?
They're
Is that how
married
you-
with 4 children and that, I mean, they're loaded.
I mean, think about it. Being a killer and dealing with dead bodies in Cleveland is probably a very highly
my God.
esteemed job.
Yeah.
As there's so many serial killers.
It's almost
there.
like a
per capita.
It's like a monopoly that you
Yeah.
have.
But
like-
then if you get in with them, like when you have people die in your family, you don't have to like go through the whole like song and dance. You just like text your buddy and you're like, hey, Grandma Maddie died. Need your help.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
But-
hookup.
Yeah, no, it's a great hookup, and they're all very, very nice and very emotionally in touch because they deal with dead people and families that are grieving all day. But
Mhm.
yeah, there's like 3 families in Cleveland that I grew up with that are really, really big in the funeral home circuit.
That's
There
crazy.
ever been like a sitcom or a TV show based around a family of morticians?
There has 6 Feet Under
What?
on
I've
HBO.
never seen it.
Yeah, it was
But I'm
about-
saying that's a great plot for a story.
It is. It was a very good show, and you're right. It's like people in that line of business. They see people at their most extreme emotions
Yeah.
every single week, every single day, probably.
It could be a comedy, it could be a drama, it could be anything because everything encompassing that. Well, I'm gonna go check my.
It would probably be easy for writers because they could make up a new story about everybody who died.
That's
Exactly.
that's what happened. Yeah, every episode would start with somebody dying,
Yeah.
and then it would show the whole process around it.
Wow.
Or imagine if you're like the type of funeral, like I knew another family that owned a funeral. I knew a lot of people that owned funeral homes that lived in the funeral home, and then you live there, and then their funeral home burned down while they were in it
Oh my god.
in the middle of the night. Isn't that creepy?
That's that's like the creepiest thing ever.
You know what I found out about embalming? That whole industry was like totally a cash grab after the Civil War. That basically they had to, during the Civil War, so many people died, that they had to send a lot of remains back to their hometowns, and in order to do that, they had to keep the body sort of intact so it wouldn't rot on the way there. So embalming became more mainstream, and then after the war, they had
Just
all
kept
these
that.
morticians who were just like, "Oh shit, we have this whole business going. War's over. No one's shipping dead bodies anymore and needing them preserved. Why don't we just make sure everyone has to preserve their body before they die?"
Did you guys ever go see the bodies exhibit?
That's creepy
No,
as fuck.
what's that?
I went to go see it. It shows the human body. So they take corpses and then they like take out the central nervous system, they take out the circulation system, the respiratory system, and then they have it on exhibit so you can see what it actually looks like.
Where is
It was like a
this?
massive it traveled all over the world,
Oh,
and it was
no.
like a big hit.
Yeah.
And then people were like, wait a second, these are a bunch of essentially like Chinese slaves,
Yeah.
and they just took their bodies.
Oh.
Prisons.
They made it seem when it first happened, they were like, oh, all these corpses were donated. The people donated their bodies to science for an exhibit like this. And then slowly more and more information came out where it was people that were they just took their bodies.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it was people who died in Chinese prisons.
yeah, they did not tell people that at the start. I was not aware
Well,
of
did
that
you-
fact when
the
I went to go
craziest-
see it.
The craziest part is like it was almost impossible for them to find bodies that didn't have smokers' lungs. So if you're in the exhibit, they like show you this is a non-smoker's lungs, this is a smoker's lungs, and then if you're looking in the exhibits, I actually went recently in Vegas, and there was like in all of this, some of the other bodies, they all have smokers' lungs, and who smokes very highly per capita? Probably Chinese prisoners, Hoons.
Hoons, yeah, Kraken Hoons.
But it'd be crazy. I mean, talking about the U.S. doing sketchy medical research, who knows what the hell is happening in China right now?
Yeah,
Because on the medical research front, because they don't like, as you can see, they were selling bodies. Like there was an instance of a Chinese scientist genetically modifying two twin babies whose mother had HIV and was trying to make them HIV resistant, and they did that, and then the Chinese government the Chinese government imprisoned him, but they might just be imprisoning him with a lab to make him do more genetic editing tests.
like what Mengele was doing, or Mengele, however you pronounce it, the German scientist
Yeah,
during World War II, the Angel
Yeah.
of Death or whatever.
I mean,
But so experimentation on human bodies has gone back a long way. Did you know that Michelangelo and Da Vinci
oh yeah,
trafficked corpses and they dissected them just to learn more about the human body?
yeah, Ben Franklin,
So that they could draw better. Like, oh, this is what a foot looks like.
and just learn about science.
Yeah. And
That
then
brings me to a question: the efficacy of this all. I understand that ethically it's probably wrong to do it without permission, but let's say, just for sake of conversation, say you body snatch and then you stumble upon a cure that can save millions of people. Like, was the efficacy boundary that you crossed worth it?
So I would say if you subscribe to the belief that after you die, your body is no longer a vessel of yourself. Your body is just flesh and bone that's been discarded and it's going to decompose. I don't think it's ethically wrong necessarily to figure out how to use your body to help people who are still alive. But there are a lot of people who truly believe that their body, even after they're dead, is like a sacred thing, and it determines, for instance, whether or not you're going to get into heaven or hell. And if your body, some religions even think if your body's cremated, you destroy your soul, and so it ruins the entire rest of your life. If you genuinely subscribe to that belief, then I think it's very fucked up to then take your body against your wishes and do something to it, because you're just essentially like disagreeing with that person and saying your true beliefs don't matter to me at all, and so my beliefs allow me to then take your body and desecrate it. I think that's fucked up to do. But there's probably an ethical line to that too. Like if you believe that your body needs to be, displayed in a public square for the next 30 years after you die, and anybody who infringes on that right is then stepping on your true beliefs. There has to be a point for the greater good where it's like, well, we can't just allow everybody that subscribes to this religion to then just have their bodies hanging out and potentially causing sickness and all that to everybody still alive. So I guess it's truly a sliding scale, and it just depends on what the average person would believe.
Arian, did you ever know the story of Henrietta Lacks?
Mm-mm.
Henrietta Lacks was an African American woman whose cancer cells were taken in 1951 without her family's permission. Yeah. That's one of the craziest stories of all time, because she's the first technically immortalized human because her cells still exist today.
Yeah, they still make cell cultures of her through some vaccines, don't they? If I'm not mistaken.
And-
yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Right, but her family got
That is
no
fire.
money. I think there might have been a settlement. I'm not sure. But she's helped so much after her death. But she was kind of her family was kind of screwed because they got nothing for.
I mean, that's why I'm not sure. I'm not sure where I stand on this. It's something like that where vaccines have demonstrably proven to benefit society. I don't think any vaccine should cost any money, and there should be no profit motive in it. Understandably, that's not the case. That's not the world that we live in. But I think I don't know, man. I guess it does. I think what you said, PFT, it boils down to my belief system. I don't believe that your body has anything to do with any kind of afterlife. And it's an assertion, 100%, because I'm still alive. But that's just what I feel, and I feel like if you can help humanity with a rotting corpse that, as far as we can tell, does you no good, man, it's fair game.
So
I get the efficacy of doing it without people's permission, though. I understand it, but
I guess
I don't know.
it has to do with what you truly believe your personal rights are. So after you die, you will have some money that you own, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that'll be in your bank account, or you'll have assets, things that you've invested in, property, and it wouldn't be the right of somebody to come in and take all your stuff and then just redistribute it to everyone, right?
That's not true.
So
If you don't have a will set up, that's exactly what happens.
it can, yeah, it can. But
Yeah.
but if you have a will set up, and the government does take money in the death tax, and then redistributes that to try to help other people. So it happens, they will take your personal property and your own body. I would imagine that's the most important part of your personal property that you own. And so after
Do you have any? That's what I'm saying. You don't have rights after you die, do you?
I think you do.
What happens if someone has no will and no living children, family, or anything?
You get buried?
No, but to their money and assets.
I think that money goes into a common fund.
Or do they find your closest living relative?
They try to find your closest living relative, and there's probably a certain amount of time that they'll put your possessions or your money into almost a storage thing, and then they set up a database, and then if somebody claims you and can prove that they're a relative, then it becomes yours. Because I know, at least in Texas, there's this website that you can log on to and see if the state owes you any money for anything. So if you don't get a deposit back after you move out, after paying your gas bill or whatever, and you can look that up and be like, oh shit, the government owes me $200, and then you can get a check from them. I think it might be similar to that arrangement, but after a certain amount of time, they just release that money.
Whoa.
I might be wrong about that because I don't have any facts to support
It might be differing state by state.
It might be, yeah. But I guess the issue is, do you own your own body after you're dead?
I don't think you do. I don't think you have
Well,
rights
no,
after you die.
You don't if you're an organ donor.
Right, you can sign that away.
You're just signing away your body.
Yeah. So I guess if you have to opt into becoming an organ donor, that would imply that you do
have rights.
You do have rights, unless you choose to waive.
I think you have the right to be buried or cremated, by your religious standard, but you have to. That's in your will. I think your will is just your rights after death, including your rights in your
I
body.
don't think you have rights after death, man. I'm looking. I can't find any.
I don't. Yeah, I'm
I
looking
think
it
you
up.
have.
Mm-mm.
That would be. I don't think you have rights after death. I think you have like property that is legally. It's like a contract. So it's like if this event happens, this happens, and it's legally binding. It's not a
Yeah.
right though.
They don't
Like,
have
a right is bestowed upon you by society. You don't have a right after you die.
They don't have constitutional rights.
Yeah.
But like for example, I want my body to not be embalmed after death. I want to be put in the ground, and I want to like go through all the process of what's it called? Decomposition. I want the worms to eat me. I want the fungus to eat me. I want to just feed
Are
the
you gonna
ground.
get buried in a casket?
Yeah, but a composable one.
I like
wood.
I like the idea of being buried, like with an acorn or with like a seed, and then a
Yeah.
tree grows and it uses some of your nutrients to grow.
Well, I'm hoping that like my life force will get put into another animal. Hopefully
Yeah.
something lucky, or it'll probably be a struggle, and like I become a worm first that like eats me, and then I'm like fuck, I want to be something better, so like I try to get eaten by a bird.
You just become the most delicious worm ever.
Yeah, like eat the fuck out of me. But then hopefully I don't go through the bird and become bird shit, and then like end up being a bacteria.
You will. I mean, part of you will.
Yeah,
What
it'll
if
probably
you-
take years of recon. Like,
What if you're buried in Yellowstone
oh,
and
bear eats me,
and a bear
digs me up.
or a buffalo comes and grazes, or bison, excuse me, grazes
Yes.
on the grass that's growing.
Yes.
Then you become a buffalo, and then a pack of wolves eats you as the buffalo, and then now you're a wolf.
Yeah, that would be cool, but I don't know if that works exactly. I feel like it's more
You
the
guys are
life
describing Mufasa talking to Simba.
force. Yeah. Well, I heard that
That's true.
at a young age. I heard that, and it was the best explanation of the afterlife that I'd ever heard. And I was like in Sunday school. And I was
Yeah.
like, that sounds cool. I want to be part of the circle of life. That sounds way better than this heaven and hell shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we die, we eat the. What does he say? We eat
When
the.
we die, our bodies become the grass, and the antelope eat the grass.
Yep. That's great. That's a great way of looking at it.
I think that whole cycle in living a just life is tried to be explained by every single religion. But like they can only explain it in terms of, the Bible, the Quran. Like
Yeah.
they try to explain like living just and like getting to like reincarnation and like dharma.
Mhm.
It's a pretty cool sort of philosophy.
So in conclusion, body snatching is good.
If no,
Part of the circle of life.
you want to hear the most fucked up part of this whole project, like their conclusion? The bone retentive and radioactive properties of SR90 endow it with a high carcinogenic capability, the project found. A given amount of the above threshold, which may be 0, fixed in the bone will cause a certain average percentage of the population to die of bone cancer, comparable with that observed in victims of radium poisoning. What's so fucked up about this is that they did this whole project just for strontium 90, and they knew what other radioactive particles did to humans before.
Mm-hmm.
So they went through this whole process to just figure out like, yep, this other radioactive particle will also give you cancer. And then they continued to do different types of tests in Belgium. They were trying to figure out its impact on livestock.
Yeah.
And like you could have easily found other mammals that like would react the same to strontium as humans.
I think their explanation was they wanted human tissue that was like unimpeded by other variables, at least the amount of variables as possible, which is why like
Right.
stillborns was like their biggest. Oof, that was problematic. I was about to say a horrible word. Was their biggest
What,
demographic.
what were you gonna
Um,
say? Asset?
I was gonna say crop.
I mean, the thing.
But yeah, so they wanted like human tissue with at least the amount of variables as possible to see what it would do to the human tissue.
The thing is, this project is really embedded in a lot of current conspiracy theories around abortion. A lot of right wing.
Yeah.
They
so
point to this.
we can get into that in a second. There was a case in Arizona that happened just a few years ago. So it was a woman, or a man named Jim Stauffer, donated his mom's body to the Biological Resource Center in Maricopa County, Arizona. It's in 2013. And Doris Stauffer was the mom. She had Alzheimer's. And the doctors believed at the time that the disease had mutated because she did not have the usual Alzheimer's gene. So they wanted to study her brain. And Jim Stauffer donated it to the BRC, which is the Biological Resource Center, in hopes that her brain could still be used for scientific research. Several days later, Jim Stauffer received a wooden box containing his mother's ashes. He was never told how his mother's body had been used at the center. And years later, they revealed that her brain was never used for Alzheimer's research. Instead, the BRC sold her body to the United States Army so that it could be used as part of an experiment to measure damage caused by roadside bombs. So what they did was they strapped her body into a chair and then set off a bomb underneath her body to get an idea of what the human body goes through when a vehicle is hit by an IED. And so he donated his mom's body to science, and then they just blew up bombs next to it and then measured, okay, how fucked up is her corpse now?
Yeah.
That feels wrong. That feels wrong to me.
Yeah, that
right?
one's. Well, I mean, if you donate the body to science, you don't really specify what kind of science you're donated it to. I guess it's subject to, the interpretation of said field of science. That's why I guess it's not a poetic way to dispose of a body. Like, it's not like, oh, we found out. It's just like this much amount of dynamite.
That does feel like something you should have to explicitly request. There's plenty of people, one might be in this room, who would probably love that.
Having your body blown up?
Yeah. So I'm sure they would not, if the amount they would need, I'm sure there are people who would say, yeah, that'd be cool.
So
you'd want to get your body blown up?
No.
I think he was referring.
He's talking about you, Bill.
Oh, I would get my body. Actually, a rocket ship blow up would kind of be cool, but with ashes.
Wait,
Precisely.
Okay, describe what I don't understand. A rocket ship blow up. So put you inside of a rocket ship and then just blow it up?
Shoot me up to space and just blow it up like the 4th of July. Actually,
yeah.
Being ashes, oh, fuck. Being ashes in some 4th of July fireworks would be pretty cool.
So my point
Yes,
exactly,
yes.
there are people who would allow you to do that
Uh-huh.
without you having to do that to people who did not consent. I know, like, at UT, there's the Body Farm, which is very famous in forensics. There's a world-renowned forensic. I forget the exact thing, but they do experiments on all sorts of bodies. They'll leave them in a car underwater for however long, and they do all these to help cops and law enforcement. There's a very long waiting list to get your body into that if you wanted it. Like, if you say, I donate my body, but I want it to go to the Body Farm at UT, not everybody that wants that gets it.
Interesting. I kind of like the
Hierarchy
idea
after death. That's hilarious.
having your body just jettisoned into outer space, just fully intact, in hopes that a future civilization, a different planet, will find you and then reanimate you.
Yeah.
You just float into some other atmosphere. That'd be fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
You'd be perfectly
Imagine
preserved
some-
out there.
That's what I'm saying. You're in a vacuum.
Yeah. Vacuum sealed and sent
Yep.
like some California Zaza.
So it turns out that this place, the Biological Research Center, the BRC in Arizona, sent at least 20 bodies that they had received and then sold them to the Army for blast experiments without the family's consent. The bodies were sold for around $5,800 each. And so you're at that point, you're selling bodies for a profit. That's your business model. And it was raided by the FBI in 2014. And during the raid, they found several horrific discoveries, including a woman's head sewn onto a male torso, dismembered limbs, and a cooler filled with male genitalia. So it doesn't sound like they're running a real tight ship at the BRC.
Was that privatized? I zoned out.
That's funny.
I zoned out. I was trying to do some research. Was that like a privatized body?
Was that a joke? Privatized?
Yeah.
Okay, good joke, Billy.
Yeah. How
I
we
don't
talking
think
about?
I don't know.
No, we were talking about privatized prisons.
Yeah, I don't think
It was. I was
where
talking
you
about
freaking
privates.
feel-
I was talking about the privates in the cooler.
It was called the.
Nah, I think,
Nope,
I think
nope.
he
I'm
threw
just
you a
like
oop.
PFT.
Good joke,
I
Billy.
did it. I did
I
it.
think he threw you a oop, and instead of dunking it, you laid it up. I think.
Good joke, Billy.
No,
The Biological Research Center might be just one of those names of a facility that sounds like it's like purely for science, and then they just are a money-making endeavor that gave themselves a great name. And
Can you imagine hustling that though? Like, you know what I'm saying?
oh, there was a mortician who got busted for illegally selling organs.
Oh, really?
On the black
That's-
market.
That's crazy.
Yeah, she was raking it in. Apparently, she was like connected to this underground organ selling ring that, like, if you were super rich and needed an organ, you could like get one. Like, if you couldn't jump the line, if it was taking too long for you to get a kidney and you need one, you could like go through this
That's-
black market.
That's one thing that I don't. Maybe y'all can enlighten me. Give me the argument. If you're dead and you can possibly give an organ that could save somebody's life, why wouldn't you do that?
I think if you have a
religious-
firmly held religious belief that prevents you from doing that.
Man, I don't know, man.
I would just want, I don't know.
That's crazy
Like
to me.
I'm cool with being an organ donor. Not to brag,
Yeah.
I am an organ
you know
donor. It's
that-
in my Twitter bio.
But that means they can take. Oh, is there like? Can we think about what's the levels? Is it like donating your body to science, organ donor, like?
What's next after that?
No, like is it like if you donate your organs, does that not mean your whole body? Could you still possibly have an open casket?
Yeah.
I think you have
Can
to
you?
die in a certain way in order for them to harvest your organs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, but most people that have their organs donated, they take out the organs when you die, and then you get embalmed, and then they dress you for a funeral.
Did your friend tell you this?
This is more, I think, just people know this.
What if they took away, like, they can take away your bones and your eyes and
Yeah.
things
I
like
mean,
that?
have you ever seen like kind of a fucked up body at a funeral?
I don't think I have.
Like sometimes you're like, they don't look like them, like how they used to.
Yeah, I don't.
Uh,
I think I've only been
what,
to
like they
one
replace their eyes?
open casket funeral. in
I've
my
been-
life.
What? Really?
I've been to a ton of wakes too.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, but
not to flex.
not to flex.
How much is it? How much is a ton, yo?
Well, wakes, it's the like an Irish funeral.
Is that an Irish thing?
Yeah, wakes.
No, I know. Wakes are called funerals. I'm saying how much? How much is a ton?
Well, because everyone in my family's Irish, and there's a
How-
lot. There's a lot of them,
No,
and there's a
bruh.
lot of they die.
They die. A lot of Irish people
I'm
die.
saying, you
A lot of
said
Irish
you went to
people
a ton of funerals.
Well, because
How many of you?
I've been to.
I've probably been to like a dozen.
Well, so think about this. My grandfather.
Dozen funerals?
Yeah, is that a lot?
My
I'm
grandfather
23.
Yeah.
24.
was a twin in one of 11, so there was a ton of aunts and uncles who died,
Irish people,
and they're all
they,
Irish.
they fuck.
I
Irish
got you.
people.
They,
I got
they,
you. I guess I just don't. I don't go to funerals unless I like know you. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like if I
Same.
knew of you, I'm not going. Like, and it's not no disrespect to you. It's just they're fucking sad, dog. Like
they are sad, but they were kind of fun because you met all your cousins were there.
It was a group hang.
yeah, and it
Yeah.
was like it was like
got you.
some of my favorite cousin fun memories were like you know
Same.
is at wakes, because you go to the wakes, the parents are all like,
You get really
we're
good
gonna-
catering.
we're gonna drink and reminisce, and then
wild.
the
Y'all
kids are
went
running
to
around.
funerals to party. Nah,
Yeah.
I that's cool. I guess.
But
you were
celebrating life.
You're supposed to be sad at some points, and then
but you're 13.
family members would start crying,
that's
and
true.
you'd be like,
Yeah.
shit, like
You start off in like the quiet voice,
like
Mhm.
when you
yeah.
say hi to each other.
You're
and then
whispering.
eventually the drinks
Yeah.
start flowing and you have a good time.
like you see
and you feel a little bit guilty for having a good time, but then you have a better time.
but then you know that person, especially if they're like
They're looking down on us.
they want us to have a good time.
Right.
You know what? I want to have a wake just so that everyone can have a good time. At my funeral, I want people to party.
yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. I
And
want
then-
a celebration.
I have specific rules for my family. I'm like, nobody's allowed to wear black. If you wear black, I'm gonna stash in my will $100,000, two big ass Samoan security guards, two big $50,000 each, just for if anybody has black on, they can't come in.
I like that. I said a couple years ago I want like Hawaiian shirts, or like wear something,
Aw.
put you in a party mode. You know?
I just got sad, bro. I just got sad.
Put on some Balls beachwear. You come out, have a good time.
Sponsored by
Yeah.
Did
There will be like at some point
Three-chi.
a bar
Table of three-chi.
for content.
don't say that on this show.
Yeah.
We didn't say who.
One of the most funniest parts about wakes is that everyone just starts putting stuff they think the guy would want to take with them to the after, like baseball, like a baseball. He played baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a case of beer sometimes.
Yeah. I always made the joke. I would always be like, oh, like, when do you think they're gonna pop out? Like, they're still alive. Because sometimes if people, I've been to several funerals where if the person that's dead if you dress them in a certain pattern or color and you look at them a certain way, it kind of looks like they're breathing still. So I'm like, you kind of got to go like survey the scene a little bit, make sure they're really dead.
I always got creeped out because a lot of people would kiss the body.
Yeah, like touching it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it
I
was like,
can't
go
do
pay
that.
your respects.
No.
And it was like, wait, am I supposed to kiss him too?
Mm-hmm.
What-
Same.
Like,
I don't know.
I know.
I didn't kiss Grandpa when he was alive.
When he was alive, why not to kiss when he's dead?
You never kissed
Same,
him. You never
Billy.
kissed him with breath.
Yeah.
That's that must be an Irish Catholic thing.
Yeah,
Because they
yeah.
would be like, go kiss your grandmother goodbye. I'm like, I don't wanna.
Like grandma, I understand, but I don't know.
What?
No, I couldn't bring myself to do that. I would stop. Or like when you had to go kneel in front of it, I couldn't even do that.
Yeah. The kneeling was to avoid. I don't know. It's a whole thing. But it's fun. They were fun.
Yeah, you can have fun.
You always end up because for some reason like the funeral homes were always next to graveyards, which means that there was always
What do
like a
you- for
good
some
lawn.
reason?
Did you say for some reason?
Yeah.
Could not put together that one.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah. No.
Somebody
what-
should look
wild,
into
man.
that.
I was trying to
And there was a lids right next to it.
but there was always a lot of green grass, so you'd always end up like playing some sort of
Yep.
sports in your funeral outfits, and then they'd always get grass stains.
Mm-hmm.
And then like your school, if like it was like one of your really close relatives, and your school friends would come, and then you're just hanging out with your school friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Funerals, fun topic.
Wakes.
Wakes.
Wakes, yeah. Funerals suck. Wakes are,
Wakes are
where
fun.
it's at.
Yeah.
I remember at my grandfather's funeral, it was at a Unitarian church, and Unitarians, they'll get up and talk about whatever for hours.
Yeah.
And this thing lasted for like 5 hours, and it was just one person after another just getting up, maybe telling a story that was like tangentially related to my grandfather, or maybe some that were just like they wanted to talk about what they thought God was. And so at Unitarian funerals, it's basically an excuse for everybody in that church to attend and then stand up and give get something off their chest about the religion
Yeah.
as a whole, or about the church as a whole.
Yeah. My other grandfather's Quaker funeral wasn't that fun.
It wasn't a party.
Yeah.
As somebody who was raised in the Quaker church, I fully give permission for people to have a good time at my eventual funeral. Hopefully long after Dan Snyder dies.
Do you want to get cremated?
I don't know. I haven't really given that much thought to it. No, I think I want to be jettisoned into space. I think that's the way to
Are
go.
you gonna go to Dan Snyder's funeral?
I might recreate the meme.
The meme, yeah.
That shit would be hilarious. Oh my god.
That's the only way that I think I can make Dan Snyder be the good guy in a situation, is if I
Stunt on him.
Yeah, I just come with a giant poster of all his terrible free agent signings and all the lawsuits against him. A picture of RG3 tearing his ACL. Albert Haynes. I'll make sure Albert Hainsworth shows up
God damn.
just to pay his respects. Did you? So you played against Hainsworth, right?
Against maybe 1 or 2 years, and he went to UT, so I know him.
That's one dude. Congratulations to him for making a shitload of money. He got, I think, $100 million from Dan Snyder as a free agent. I forget, maybe like $53 million was guaranteed, something around there. And then he joined the team, and then they made him do the conditioning test on the first day of training camp. And he took one lap, and then just went and took a shit. He just left to go use the bathroom and said, "Fuck this conditioning test."
Got
So-
that fuck you money, man.
So he had to, yeah, he had, I'm going to take a shit money instead of doing your drills. And then they made him keep trying to do this conditioning test. He was like, fuck that. I got too much money to run a mile or whatever it was. And then he got to the point where he would just lay down in the middle of plays and not get up. He would get knocked over. There's a great clip of him. I think it was in that Eagles Monday night game where Mike Vick just ate our lunch the entire time, where Albert Hainsworth like gets pushed down to the ground by an offensive lineman, and then he just lays on the ground face first instead of getting up. And Michael Vick has to like move around his body to get around him. He's running back and forth in the pocket for like 6 seconds, and Hainsworth just lying on the ground like, I don't feel like getting up.
He's a landmine. That's why. No, don't they teach a lot of defensive linemen that if they're getting double teamed, it's not a bad thing just to like go down, but bring him with you because you like will fall in a gap and you'll stuff that gap.
Yeah, there's a way to do that for sure. That's not what Big Al was doing in this circumstance.
That's what he was probably claiming he was doing.
Yeah, maybe it was very funny. And when we signed him, he was like a dirty player, but he was really, really fucking good. And there was one play, I think it was against the Bears when he was on the Redskins at the time, where he just, for whatever reason, decided he was going to play. He was going to take one play very, very seriously. And I think he pushed the center and the guard back into the quarterback to stop him, like before the handoff on a goal line play. So he still had that ability. He was still strong as shit, but he was like, yeah, I don't really care to make an effort on the rest of these plays. That was a great signing. Shout out Big Al though. He was a great player for a while on the Titans and for UT. And then he got traded to the Patriots for a 5th round pick, and Belichick was like, I can't even use this guy. So then I think he ended up his career down in Tampa Bay. All-time moneymaker though. So shout out Big Al.
I saw the other day Brian Hoyer just got signed somewhere.
Cleveland guy.
Yeah, the Raiders. The Raiders are building the Patriots of the desert.
I think it came across my time. I think I still follow Adam Schefter, and I was like, Brian Hoyer. He was one of my quarterbacks with Bill O'Brien. I was like, he's fucking still in the league, though. That's crazy. Backup quarterback, by far the best job in the world.
Yep.
So easy, so fun.
Chase Daniel, he's one of the greats too. He's still around.
You have to be really humble to be a backup quarterback.
Yeah.
How humble do you have to be when you're still
care.
making like $15 million a year? You know?
I think you have to be humble because you have to be able to go into work for an entire season and just know that you're not the guy and that somebody else is better than you and be okay with that.
I think I can be humble for like
But
so
I'm
much
saying,
money though.
Most competitive
I
athletes.
think
Yeah,
I
that's
think,
okay. That's true.
Yeah,
I guess.
y'all are thinking of backup quarterbacks like these competitive ass like. I would say most backup quarterbacks, especially journeyman backup quarterbacks, they're cool with not being the guy. It's
Like
not
they
about
understand their
humility.
role.
It's about yo, this is a free fucking check.
Yeah.
But to
I don't have the pressure of being an NFL quarterback.
You don't get
I
hit.
don't have the pressure of starting every week. You never get hit. You literally just go and you can drink beers during film sessions, during practice. You're chilling. Like there's just zero fucking pressure, dog. It is the greatest job of the world.
And then if you come in and do like okay, people are like, wow, this guy's doing really well.
Like nothing to lose.
So
That'll get you a job for 3 more teams.
Josh Dobbs.
Yep.
But you still
Josh
gotta,
Dobbs was like pretty good in those couple games with the Titans. Had a couple like the team wasn't awesome around him, and then he got another contract out of it.
You still
He's my
gotta-
guy now.
Yep, again.
The
Again.
Texans did a great job of just building their starting quarterbacks out of all backup quarterbacks for like a 10-year span.
But you still
They
got to
did.
show up and compete in the fall.
They had here's the list of
Not really.
Texans quarterbacks starting in 2000. When did you get into the league, Arian?
09.
09. Okay, so they had
Well, let's have Arian try to remember them.
Okay, yeah, can you remember every Texans quarterback from 2009 until when did you sign with Dolphins?
15. When you stop believing in God.
15. Same year. The exact same year. Let's see. When I first got there, it was Schaub, and then I believe Orlovsky.
Starting
Backup.
quarterbacks.
Oh, so it's just starting? Okay,
Yeah.
so it was Schaub, and then Matt Leinart. Then it was TJ Yates. Then it was who was after TJ?
Matt Leinart started for the Texans.
Started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was Brock Osweiler. No, he
Yeah.
was second. There was somebody before Brock Osweiler. Was it Brian Hoyer? Yeah, Brian Hoyer. Then Brock Osweiler. Did I miss one?
You missed a couple.
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yep.
Ryan Fitzpatrick. Fuck, I'm out. I'm out of guess.
This really is a backup quarterback convention.
So yeah,
Who you telling?
You want me to
I
list?
faced 8 in the box a lot in my career.
Well, I feel like
I'll list all of them: Matt Schaub, Matt Leinart, T.J.
Uh-huh.
Yates, then
Yeah.
back to Matt Schaub, then
Yep.
Case Keenum,
Case Key. I forgot Case.
then Fitzpatrick,
Yeah.
Ryan Mallett,
oh,
Ryan Mallett.
Mallet.
That's who it was.
and then you got Brian Hoyer, Mallett again, T.J. Yates again. Brandon Whedon started a game.
Oh,
Brandon
king.
Whedon.
One game for you guys. Then Brock again, and then Tom Savage.
Tom Savage. I forgot about Tom too.
I thought
God
Ryan Mallett was going to
damn,
be
dog.
pretty good.
Yeah, Ryan Mallet.
Shout out to Andre Johnson and DeAndre Hopkins. Them motherfuckers are fire.
Yeah.
Dog.
Yeah, they really are. And before that, it was Schaub and Sage Rosenfels, another all-time
Yep.
backup quarterback.
Carr as well. What's his name?
Yeah, David Carr.
David Carr.
So yeah, that's what you get when you build an entire quarterback room out of the backup quarterback.
It's crazy we had the success we did.
Yeah, I mean, well, to be fair to Matt Schaub, he had a season where he was legit good.
I still think he's very solid. I just think he got, for whatever reason, he got like spooked or something. I don't know. That 2000, I think it was 13 year. He just had a bad year, and that shit. I think maybe just reading his press, and he just started making really bad decisions. I don't know. That's my guy though.
He had a bunch of pick sixes. Yeah, who's the best quarterback you've ever played with in the NFL?
I think it was Schaub.
It would have to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about in the Pro Bowl?
Schaub. I played with Peyton.
Was that nice?
Everybody's just drunk, man. ain't nobody really playing football. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was one play everybody tags me in there, circles around every like once a year, where Jeff Saturday was with Green Bay, who used to be Peyton's center for like years, his whole career, and so they let him snap the ball to Peyton one more time, and I was the running back for that play, and it was a run play, and nobody blocked, but. It was the Pro Bowl.
I like the idea of they got Jeff Saturday in there at the end of his career and Peyton's in there. They're like, you know what Peyton would really like? To stick his hand into your butthole one last time. He missed it. Was it under center?
Yeah, I might have been shotgun. I don't know. I don't remember. You can find it. Just say Jeff Saturday's last snap or whatever.
The Pro Bowl for linemen had to really suck because, like, skill position guys can go 50%. Like, if you're a lineman, you can't really afford to not play, really.
Yeah.
Because you don't know how hard the other guy's going to come at you.
You just talk about it. You just literally
Just
say,
make an
"Hey,
agreement
man,
at the beginning.
what you want to do, man?" Because everybody was there for the same. The way they did the Pro Bowl this year, from my understanding, I didn't watch it, but like it was just like a skill.
It was
skill
flag
position
football.
contest. Flag football. They had like the longest drive shit. They had shit like that. That's to me what, because football is a contact sport. You can't play no game for real.
Okay, so
Especially
here's
with
Jeff
contact.
Saturday checking into the game. He's Peyton got under center. He just wanted to stick his hand into his old buddy's butthole one last time. They snap it, hand off left to Arian. Arian's drunk. He just kind of bounces around for a second, and then who's 93 on the Bucks?
Wait, what year is this?
Seymour.
Oh,
This is
Richard Seymour.
2012 Pro Bowl.
Gerald McCoy.
And then Gerald McCoy just pounced on you and drove you into the
Yeah.
ground.
Was he in the
Couple-
NFL in 2012?
Yep.
Yeah. I think it was like 2 or 3 years after me.
that's why it's so crazy that was it Lawrence Taylor got the punt? No, Sean Taylor
Yeah.
just
Sean Taylor.
leveled the punter.
Brian Moorman.
That was R.I.P. to Sean, but that was a wild thing to do, man. That was a wild thing to do. Just to level a punter like that.
That's how he played
That's
football.
wild. I hear you, man, but that's wild, dog. And my man's didn't even probably tie his shoes right, bro.
Well,
The
here,
punter's
just be out
family was there.
here's
Like,
here's the thing
Wow.
about Brian Moorman. Brian Moorman fancied himself as a football player. Because in that same Pro Bowl, I remember watching him. He was competing in the 40-yard dash as like they were doing all these skills competitions. So he was running against wide receivers and running backs, and he beat a lot of them. He ran like a 4.4
What
or
was
like
his
a
name?
4.3. Brian Moorman, the punter from the Bills. So he thought that he was like an actual football player, and he called that fake punt for himself. Is what I know, because he wanted to show off how good he was at running with a football. In that case, I completely understand why Sean Taylor wanted to level him and send
That
him a
makes
message.
100% sense then. Yeah, that makes sense because kickers are not. They don't play football.
No,
Holy-
we don't.
Brian Mormon was a with his he was a hurdler,
Yeah, he was actually very fast.
and I think his hurdle time was faster than RG3. Wait, 4.97. Oh no, RG3 dusted him.
No, I would say because RG3, I think he won like state or something.
Yeah, I
like
think
that
he
in
was-
high school. He was a real hurdler. Like
He was a full 0.9 slower than RG3.
Yeah, Sean Taylor was a great high school athlete. He played running back and safety in high school, and I think he led this entire state of Florida in touchdowns and running yards when Sean Taylor did.
Oh yeah,
When he was a senior in high school at Gulliver Prep.
and then he wanted to play safety.
And then so he got recruited by Miami. They recruited him as two-way player to play running back and then also safety. And then they're like, wait a second, we have whoever it was like Frank Gore, Willis McGahee, and Clinton Portis as our running backs. So Sean, why don't you just figure out how to be a safety and play with Ed Reed for a little bit? And then Sean Taylor ended up becoming, in my opinion, the most talented safety of all time. Not I can't say the greatest because he didn't play for that long, unfortunately. And he played with a bunch of great. You know, Aaron, you never played against him, but if you watch the highlights of people playing against Sean Taylor, big dudes going across the middle, being Terrell Owens was terrified of Sean Taylor, wouldn't get near him.
I get you, but I think he's in the conversation. I think he's top 5, 6 safeties all time.
In terms of just athletic ability, I would say he might be the best, though.
I would actually give that nod to Ed Reed. Actually,
Great player.
yeah, but yeah, great player. Not to knock him.
So
What-
let's.
An amazing, like Miami back in the day. What an amazing, like that's good. Ed Reed, Sean Taylor, Andre Johnson, Frank Gore. Like it's just crazy, dog. Kellen Winslow before the wild shit. Ray Lewis. God damn, Vince Wilfork. They had monsters, bro.
I think
Jesus.
there was one season where they had, I think it was Sean Taylor and Ed Reed playing safety, Jonathan Vilma at linebacker.
I forgot about him.
I think Vince Wilfork at defensive tackle. Kellen Winslow the second at tight end. I want to say Clinton Portis at running back.
Yeah, Willis McGahee too. I think back then.
Willis McGahee, and I think Santana Moss at wide receiver.
Ton of Moss. Yeah.
That's a team that might have been able to keep it within 20 points of, let's just say, the Lions that year. I'm pretty sure the Lions were bad that year. They were legitimately that talented
Yeah,
on
man.
defense.
Squadron.
You guys want to get back to Project Sunshine a little bit?
Yeah. Basically, Alex Jones is a big Project Sunshine. Like, they're stealing babies. Look at Project Sunshine.
Yeah, there was actually a worldwide effort to steal these babies. So I think you
Yeah.
touched on it earlier, Billy, but they were coming from all over the world,
Mm.
and they were just sending baby bodies places.
Yeah, it's wild.
So like, I know England had a bunch of babies that went missing.
Mm-hmm.
So the stuff really happens, and there's usually like a kernel of truth into whatever Alex Jones's most recent pet project is, and then he goes on like 7 different tangents away from it and connects a lot of dots, and ends up just saying stuff that's not true. But there's usually like one thing that is at least like 50% true at the root of all of his crazy shit.
Which is they're now stealing the babies for stem cell research, and the babies aren't stolen. They're donated.
What do you mean?
This is a conspiracy theory
Yeah,
that for stem cell research they're using fetal stem cells,
yeah, that's true.
and they're getting them from like stillborn babies and stuff.
Okay, that's an Alex Jones conspiracy.
Well, he's saying that that's why certain laws are being passed. So
Just
that
say
they
what are you trying to say? Just say what you want to say.
Alex Jones thinks that people are being pushed to get abortions so that they can have more stem cell babies.
Got it. Okay.
I don't think that.
I don't. Do they use? I think if I don't know how abortion laws work. If a mother chooses that her child is like donated, what they do with the body, I have no idea what that's
Yeah.
like. But
I'm not going to comment on it.
why won't
They
you
did.
comment?
They did do that for I think what vaccine was that? Where they used aborted cells
Yeah.
from a baby in some. I don't remember the vaccine.
That's how you'd get the religious exemption
To what?
to
Or
whichever. Like that's what people would put in their religious exemption letters
Oh, because fetal
to get
tissue
out
was
of getting
used in.
vaccinated. Yeah.
Okay, I understand that. I would also imagine that there's other things on the medical market out there that they have no problem with using.
Yeah.
At the very least, medicine that has been tested on babies, or in this scenario, in Project Sunshine.
Yeah.
But you're saying that the religious exemption is that because this vaccine was created using stem cells from children, you can't force me to put it into my body.
Because it's against my religion.
Got it. Is that against religion?
Well, abortion. Religion.
So, because the baby, say what you're thinking out loud instead of just like muttering.
You can't connect. There's a whole thing.
I wanna
They're
know what
against
you're saying.
abortion.
Yes.
So if a donated abortion
Yeah.
was used for testing, they don't want to be. They connect themselves to that
Would they be like
if they got vaccinated.
would they be against like if they got into a car accident and their liver was destroyed? Are they like, I want to make sure that this liver that I'm receiving doesn't come from a gay person. I don't want to have a gay liver. Would they have that same objection then? I'm trying to
would.
zoom out.
I'm not gonna. I don't have this opinion,
Mhm.
and I'm making a conscious effort to not like push against you with this, so people think I have this opinion because I don't.
No, I'm genuinely curious, like what the line is,
I don't know.
or is it because I suspect it would be like they're against the vaccine to begin with, and so they see that and they put two and two together and they're like, I can't take the vaccine
Yeah,
because
but it's
of
more
this.
they just don't want to take the vaccine because it's
Right.
because of
They have other-
yeah.
They have other
but
reasons.
they use that reason.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
So like if in the case of getting a gay person's liver, they'd probably be like, yeah, please save my life,
Yeah.
even
So
though
here's
it
what-
comes from somebody that I disagree with their lifestyle.
Yeah.
fibroblast cell history. Fibroblast cells are the cells needed to hold skin together and connective tissue together. The fetal fibroblast cells used to grow vaccine viruses were first obtained from elective termination of 2 pregnancies in the early 1960s. These same fetal cells obtained in the early 60s have continued to grow in the laboratory and are used to make vaccines today. No further sources of fetal cells are needed to make these vaccines. So it's like a cell culture that they grow and they just continue to grow.
Yeah.
And it did stem from aborted fetuses in the 1960s.
It's like sourdough.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody out there makes their own bread.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that how sourdough works?
It's like
no,
a starter.
It's yeast. That's
Yeast,
different. That's
but that-
fungus.
But it's the same.
Fungus.
It's the same fungus that other people have used to make their sourdough. I know a lot of people got into making their own sourdough
Yeah,
bread.
but
during
you're
the
growing
pandemic.
You
your
can
fungus
constant-
culture.
You can constantly, oh shit, what's the word? Like kind of like revitalize your starter. Like you can have starter forever.
Okay.
And kind of just zhuzh it up.
This is also as jockish gets reactivated.
Jock itch.
Yeah.
Oh, because of fungus?
It's all fungus.
Yeah. Is it the same as athlete's foot?
I kind of think so.
It's just athlete's crotch?
I think that like because whenever I used to deal with that sort of stuff, it was from my gear bag. Like all the stuff would be in the same place.
Got it.
So like if you're throwing your cleats in with your jock, or
With your
compressions,
underwear?
yeah,
Then you get it on your dick,
yeah,
on your groin.
Gold Bond.
Gold Bond. Gold Bond is amazing stuff.
You know what? If you're having issues down there, a good idea to like make sure you're not like getting fungal infections and stuff is sort of keep it clear. And one of my favorite products
What do you mean,
for
keep it clear?
keeping it clear down there, Manscaped. We all here on Macrodosing Manscaped get it going good.
Good ad read, Billy.
Yeah, great grounds crew. But talking about Manscaped, the professional football draft is here, and the most exciting prospect is the prospect of being perfectly groomed head to toe with our friends at Manscaped. Manscaped has long had elite downfield play with their Lawnmower 4.0, but in 2023 they have the rookie sensation Beard Hedger to ensure the face of your franchise is a pretty one. The Beard Hedger and the Lawnmower 4.0 are a franchise-changing combo that will have you looking at your roster with pride. With all that RPM power, the Lawnmower is still the most nimble on the field with its skin-safe technology that reduces nicks and snags while making all the right cuts on the hair. You've done the dirty work. Now it's time to make sure you look good with the powerful cordless Beard Hedger and its 20 positions of precision. With tough titanium blades and single-stroke efficiency, the Beard Hedger helps you customize your look using a rotary wheel with 20 lengths while only using one guard. If you haven't upgraded your grooming tools already, head to manscaped.com for champion worth roster reset. I use Manscaped. Guys, winter's over. You'll be rocking bathing suits. You need to get going with the Manscaped. It's also way better when you're not. Swamp-ass season's coming up. Manscaping always helps it out. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code DOSE, D-O-S-E, at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com, and use code DOSE. Go from Mr. Irrelevant to a first-round pick with Manscaped.
Great ad read, Billy. Great transition into that one. Very proud of you. Want to catch everybody up here on new paper came out, or new evidence came out last week. I believe it was last Thursday in the Las Vegas shooting.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so a topic that we had discussed on this show and how there's no real clear motive to it. Per the Las Vegas police investigation, the FBI still does not have a single or clear motivating factor behind the attack, but it appeared that Mr. Paddock wanted to die by suicide after experiencing a decline in mental and physical health. And so they released reports of FBI interviews of people who knew or interacted with Mr. Paddock that were just made public that shed new light on what has become known about his obsessive high roller gambling habits and state of mind. He sometimes spent up to 18 hours a day gambling in various hotels, was very upset at the way casinos were treating him and other high rollers. The stress could be easily what caused Paddock to snap, the FBI said. So he would frequently carry around $100,000 in cash, had a bankroll of approximately $2 to $3 million. Mr. Paddock was personable and intelligent and said that, like all professional gamblers, Mr. Paddock frequently kept to himself, and that casinos treated high rollers with free cruises, penthouse suites, and tours, but those perks had been scaled back in recent years. At Tropicana, Las Vegas, they told the FBI Mr. Paddock was there once every 3 months and was a prolific video poker player. The woman said he didn't talk about anything personal with him, but he stayed at the Tropicana a couple weeks before the shootings and lost $38,000 during that visit. The documents revealed that a different interviewee told the FBI that over dinner at Applebee's, Mr. Paddock shared with him that gambling had been his main source of income and that he bought a handgun for protection because he's earning so much money. And then he started stockpiling weapons for about a year. And we talked about his internet searches, but he got wealthy over the years. And then he started to lose money gambling. And then he got mad at the system. While large portions of this and other sections of the interview notes were redacted, the former acquaintance reported that Mr. Paddock had been fascinated by the Oklahoma City bombing and thought that Adolf Hitler was a good man. So really, the documents that they released basically are saying he used to be treated very well and was making a lot of money, that he started to lose money and they stopped giving him nice free rooms and all the high roller perks. That to me doesn't sound like an ironclad motive.
Yeah, that's
behind
you
shooting
think
a
that's
bunch
bullshit,
of people.
right?
I think that that does not tell it. We still don't know why he decided to do it.
I think Mohammed bin Salman's involved.
Okay.
I think there is a bunch of like that conspiracy we talked about. Like I've been looking into it more. There's a lot of shootings that night
Okay.
near bus ports. Just look into it yourself.
Okay. Do your own research.
Do your own research. But I mean, it's pretty nuts.
Yeah, that would be nuts if Bin Salman was involved.
I think there was a hitman who, instead of to fly under detection, they're like, oh, we don't need to bring guns to America. We can just buy guns when we get there to kill someone if we want to kill them.
Mm-hmm.
And then a whole bunch of hitmen were up in there and trying to buy guns. They panic because something doesn't go wrong, or it was like an FBI sting to set them up because they're trying to buy guns in the same hotel they wanted to detain someone who didn't like the prince, was like staying upstairs, got hit with an FBI. Whole thing goes to shit. They're like, oh, we're in America. What happens in America? Mass shootings. We'll just pretend it's a mass shooting to cover this all up. Pretty like tight thinking. Then they try to, there's like a bunch, like if you look at the air traffic control history from that night, there's tons of weird shit happening. And there's unmarked planes that are making, circles as if they're a helicopter, but they're really supposed to be a 747 airliner when you check out their flight number. It's weird.
Okay.
It's weird.
Could they have been circling around because they stopped allowing landings at the airport because there was a shooting where some of the bullets were hitting the airport?
Aeronautics as a pilot.
Yeah.
You couldn't stop a 747 on the roof of the Mandalay Bay, could you?
No, you could not.
Check out some of the.
I could, but most pilots couldn't.
You couldn't land one on the top of the Mandalay Bay.
I could, but most pilots out there don't have.
It's
that
just some weird
expertise.
stuff.
Could that have been like a clerical error in terms of just identifying a plane as being the wrong flight?
Maybe.
Because that sounds like what you're talking about is a helicopter.
Right.
Uh-huh.
So if there was a helicopter that had to get people out of there, I don't know. It's some weird stuff. But was the cover up in play, and in order to preserve Vegas's tourism and maintain relations with the new prince of Saudi Arabia, in order to make our petrodollar?
But if there's a way, if your biggest priority is to make sure that Las Vegas tourism does well, I would say that having a random mass shooting at a concert is a very bad way to do that.
Right. So you cover it up.
No, but it happened. But there was no.
Right. 100%.
Even what they're saying happened with the Stephen Paddock guy.
Yeah.
That probably did a lot to harm Las Vegas tourism.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why would that be?
I don't know.
Preferable. Okay. I'm
more the petrodollar stuff.
The petrodollar. Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of de-dollarization happening. It's the U.S.'s greatest strength. That might have been a little wild out there, but I mean,
just asking questions.
As Billy said, it's pretty tight thinking.
Because if you look at the time frame and who was there,
okay,
it's kind of crazy.
Was Mohammed bin Salman there?
No, not him. But you know how there's like a bunch of princes?
Yeah.
There might have been. Remember we did the whole thing?
There's dozens and dozens of them. Yeah.
So there might have been one that he didn't like staying upstairs, who was like a dissident.
Mm-hmm.
And like, remember we were talking about they imprisoned that one guy?
Yeah. Did they kill the guy at the Mandalay Bay?
No, we don't know. But there was.
Is he alive or not?
They don't know who exactly it was.
Okay.
But it was on paper. All the cameras have disappeared.
Okay.
Like they haven't released them.
Okay.
Like we don't know what happened.
So we don't know who stayed there.
Yeah, we don't know anything.
Okay. I do agree that what they put out in the New York Times, it doesn't really prove anything.
And it's kind of like what, he's just angry he's not getting cruises anymore?
Yeah.
A guy with a ton of money is angry that
he used
he's
to
not
have a
getting
ton of
free.
money.
At the time,
I don't know how much money he died with, but there are whole explanations. He had been losing money in recent history, and he'd been losing out on his perks, and so he decided to kill a bunch of people. Doesn't make that much sense to me.
yeah. By the way, the MBS theory could totally be bullshit. It's just an interesting one to me.
Okay. All right. It is interesting. Do we have voicemails today?
We do.
Let's do some voicemails.
Oh, real quick.
Yeah.
Speaking of people who love Hitler,
Oh.
y'all see Kanye's Instagram post?
Oh,
It's deleted. It's deleted now, but
No.
he posted a picture of 21 Jump Street.
yeah.
Oh,
the
yeah.
actual movie thing, with a caption that said, "Watching Jonah Hill in 21 Jump Street made me like Jewish people again. No one should talk anger against one or two individuals and transform that into hatred towards millions of innocent people. No Christian can be labeled an anti-Semite knowing Jesus is Jew. Thank you, Jonah Hill. I love you. My bad, Jews.
Are we cool?
We're cool, right?
It is a great movie.
It
It is
is.
amazing.
It is a good movie. Turned Kanye into a non-anti-Semite. So shout out to 21 Jump Street.
I've been
Kind of a ringing endorsement.
It's
I
so
mean-
funny. It'll make you not anti-Sem. Wait,
Make
Make-
love Jews.
make you like Jews.
make you
again.
pro-Semitic. Pro-Semite?
Yeah, I was trying to get like
Yeah,
the
you're
opposite.
doing a double negative, non-anti-Semite.
Yeah.
Make you Semite?
That would just make you Jewish.
Pro-Semite.
Well, Hank used to think that Yosemite was
Yosemite.
Yosemite. Yeah. All right, let's do some voicemails. Or unless, Arian, did you find out the thing that you were looking at with Willard Libby? The thing that you thought
I was
wasn't
looking.
true?
I was looking into his involvement with the second atomic bomb we dropped, and he was involved in it.
Fat
He
boy?
lent his services to I threw it all away. Yeah, the little boy.
Little
He lent his services to I forget the guy's name. Urey. He was also a chemist who helped develop the first atomic bomb, I believe, the Manhattan Project. And then so it's not funny, but it's wild. He comes home and he slaps down some newspapers on his desk with his wife with pictures of the atom bomb that just dropped in, I think it was Hiroshima. And he said, "This is what I've been working on." Wild,
Whoa.
bro. Wild, man.
Well, think about when you're coming home late from work, your wife's ragging on you. Oh, you work too much. Like, why are you working so much? What could possibly be so important that,
Uh-huh.
like, you can't spend time with me?
I have to blow up Japan.
It's like this.
Yeah, it's the meme where the couple's in bed together, and she's
Yeah.
like, he's probably thinking about other women. And he's like, how do I level Nagasaki?
His wife's like, he's totally
that
having
would-
affairs.
That would actually be a dope topic to deep dive into, actually, is Japan, just the history of Japan in general. It's very fucking interesting.
I know
bro.
somebody who'd be perfect for that episode.
Who?
Large.
Oh,
Large has
hell yeah.
wanted to do a macro dosing on Japan for
Really?
a long time. You're gonna be here next week, right?
I am going to be here next week.
I'm gonna hit
to
up
Japan?
Large, see if he
Did you
can.
go to Japan?
Yeah, he wants to talk about Japan. He's been saying that to me for like a year and a half now.
Japan, like, stopped the Mongols. Like, that's insane.
Japan has like a very, it's problematic. Their history is fucking problematic.
we
to say
could
the
do a
least.
whole episode on the rape of Nanking.
Who?
Yep,
Yeah,
Yep.
that.
yep. It's wild. It's we'll save it, but it's
Yeah,
Japan's history is very interesting, man. It was just unbeknownst to me until I stumbled across some stuff. But yeah,
it's always
Yeah.
crazy how they always teach, the, like, bombing of Japan like the, not the A push, but they always do it in conjunction with the rape of Nanking, just to like that's how the history books, like, they try to justify our actions.
really, I never learned about the rape of Nanking
That-
in conjunction with
No,
That's what
our-
I'd always been taught that if we did not drop the nukes on Japan, then we would have had to invade Japan's
Yeah.
mainland, and
with
that
the
give-
Purple Hearts.
given the way that they had proven themselves to fight over the course of the war and the overall mentality, like they thought their emperor was God, that they were just going to fight the entire time until everybody was killed, like everybody that was able to pick up a weapon was killed. So they thought that we were going to lose 500,000 troops if we invaded Japan. So the cost benefit was either drop the bomb or invade and lose a bunch of American lives. That's what we were taught. That's not all entirely true. There are some models for like the invasion of Japan that would back up some of those numbers, but also take into account the fact that we were on the precipice of starting a Cold War with Russia, and they were seen as like the next big enemy of the United States. And so we wanted to show to them, don't fuck with us. We have an atomic bomb.
Yeah. But, like, I'm saying in I'm saying bad. I can't explain it. Never mind.
Okay. All right, let's do some
Yep.
voicemails.
Hey man, Produce and Crew, this is Bobby from Oswego. I was just wondering, what do you think the least gross doctor job is? I, for one, think it might be the orthopedist, but I'm wondering to hear from each of you. What do you think? Stay handsome, stay gorgeous. Thank you.
The least gross doctor job. I think it's a wrist specialist.
Like,
Yeah.
so an orthopedic.
Yeah, that specializes in the wrist and the hand.
Are you also an orthopedic surgeon if you're an orthopedic?
No.
I think you can be an orthopedic doctor, maybe not a
Yeah.
surgeon.
Yeah.
But I feel like they usually do both because like just checking out hands.
No, just checking out hands pays the bills. I'll tell you that.
Really? But like
Mhm.
what they
If you're like a sports orthopedic doctor,
yeah.
you're putting on casts all day long.
Yeah, but what's nice about like the forearm and the wrist, there's no like mucus there. It's not like ear, nose, and throat where you have like wax and build up and shit like that. It's pretty cut and dry. You got your wrist, you got your finger bones, your hand bones, and then some of the radius and the ulna, the forearm bones. Pretty. That's probably the least gross part of the human body.
Yeah, an
What
orthopedic
about a
hand
dermatologist?
specialist.
Oh no.
No, have you seen
Oh,
Dr.
bad.
Pimple Popper?
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Yeah, dermatologist. No way. You get funguses.
I enjoy
you're right,
those
okay.
videos, but I wouldn't want to do it.
You got to scrape shit.
You like the
Okay.
pimple popping?
Yeah.
I
videos?
love the pimple.
It makes
I do
me
too, I follow
feel.
her.
I knew
clean.
Mad Dog would, but
I
you,
do,
Big T,
I
that's
do.
No, I
surprising.
like it. It makes me feel better.
It's like
I don't know.
satisfying.
Yeah.
when they pop like a giant cyst
Oh,
and
I love it.
oh no, I can't.
Some of
Earwax
them,
videos too.
I like
Oh.
Earwax videos are the best.
No, I love them.
You guys
When
are
they do the
fucking
water
sick.
and the earwax. Oh
I don't
my
like
God.
those. Those don't satisfy me as much.
Really?
But like when they have the little suction
Mhm.
thing. Oh,
I love it.
good stuff.
Yeah.
Now that I would not want that to be my profession, but I enjoy watching them.
Arian, you like him?
I do, man. I don't know why, man. It's so oddly satisfying. And when I like the ones where like you have that little scraper thing and it's like right by the noses, those little
Oh.
black
Oh,
heads,
dermaplaning.
Oh yeah.
and you push it out and they just ooze out. I don't know what the fuck.
I
that is.
feel
It's weird.
relief.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
talking about it right now sounds disgusting,
Yeah,
but
but-
He looks like he's gonna
Yeah.
yak.
I like enjoy them so much when I'm watching them.
Mhm.
Would you like
don't
watching
know
a video
why.
of somebody like taking a shit?
That's
No.
that's not
It's
the same, and
different.
you know
That's
that.
the same
and you
thing.
know that. No, it's
No.
not.
It's your body eliminating waste.
Actually,
No.
a close-up photo video would probably look a lot like some pimple popping videos.
Yeah,
So
just a massive
No.
turd.
I
coming
don't
out.
judge because I'm a big chiropractic video
Oh,
guy.
Oh yeah.
A chiropractor's the best
Yeah.
doctor. You just get to crack necks all day.
well,
like,
those aren't
Ooh,
doctors.
Are they doctors?
Technically,
No,
legally,
You can
no,
get
they
your-
are not.
I
I
think you
don't
can have
they're
a
not,
doctor.
actually.
you're a doctor if you're a chiropractor.
You are
think
not.
so.
Yes, you are.
I don't think so.
Yes,
No.
you are.
No,
Yes,
What-
you
what-
are. You
what
go to
is- what is
chiropractic
your-
school
what
and
is
you have
your-
a doctor,
chiropractic
What is
school is not medical
It's
school.
not-
But you're a
you don't
doctor,
have
you're
a
legal-
doctoral.
but you're
You don't-
legally
I don't
referred
think-
to as a doctor.
There's
They
not.
may
think
call
you-
themselves
I don't think
doctors.
you're
They
right.
are not.
They
It
usually
says,
get
yes,
doctorates.
chiropractors are
Chiropractors
doctors.
They are doctors of
Of
chiropractic
chiropractic
medicine.
medicine.
That is not
So-
real medicine.
So they don't.
Yeah.
They're considered physicians.
They don't hold an MD. They're not
They
medical
can't write
doctors.
prescriptions.
yeah.
They're not medical doctors, but they are technically doctors of something besides medicine.
They can put their tax on their legal forms. They can put doctor.
They don't go to med school.
No, they go to chiropractic school.
That to me, that's a big
So then you're not a
distinction.
doctor.
So like if you were to become a foot doctor, a podiatrist, you would have to go to medical school
Correct.
to get
Yeah.
that. But if
and then
you,
that's your
if you want to become a back doctor, you have to study spinal. That's like the classification. You can be a spinal doctor.
What's the famous quote? Injuries, spinal. Oh no, it's Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
My back's broke. Spinal.
Yeah.
I don't know. A wrist doctor is a good guess though, or a good pick though for
Chiropractic's not disgusting because even a
No.
wrist doctor, you might have to deal with
with
some
like a compound fracture
yeah,
Yeah, bones poking out.
like
Yeah.
chiropractor,
or
you're
like
just
nerves.
cracking
Yeah.
people.
Crack.
Yeah,
Dude,
you,
I
guess
love-
they
well that's why,
are.
Billy. That's actually the case against why chiropractors aren't doctors, because if you have your doctor is based around the back, right?
Yeah.
But if like a bone's poking through, a chiropractor would be like, whoa, I can't do this.
Yeah.
Let's get this man to a doctor. You know?
Imagine if a chiropractor was like cracking someone's spine, and like the spine just popped out like through the skin,
Yeah.
and you like crack someone's back.
If you claim that you're a doctor and the first thing that you do, if the part that you specialize in breaks, is you dial 911, you're not an actual doctor.
I love the chiropractor though.
Listen, it's not a knock against the fact that
It feels like a knock.
they can make you feel great and they can provide relief, and
There's
I'm
probably
sure
a
people
lot of angry chiropractors listening to your chiropractic
there's
slander
enough
right now.
if you're a real doctor, you probably don't spend your days listening to Billy talk about science. So
No, a lot of them do because they hit me up and get mad at me.
yeah,
There were
yeah.
5 doctors at our live show. Remember that?
That's
Yeah.
true. That's good, fair point.
Wait, so it depends on how we're defining doctor, right? Because
Medical
'cause
doctor.
you can have a doctorate in something, you have a PhD in something, and they call those people doctors as well. So it depends on what we're defining a doctor as.
No, we're talking medical doctor.
Yeah, like Jill Biden,
No,
she's not considered a doctor in terms of this conversation.
you know who are really fucked? The people who get doctorates in from a different, like a doctorate in performance arts, and then get like a certification in some sort of talk therapy, and then try to be therapists and
Yeah.
literally like fuck up people's lives because they don't know what they're talking
Yeah, if you
about.
don't have a doctorate in your field that you're
Yeah.
in, but you call yourself doctor and people are
Yeah.
misled. So Dr. Jill Biden, jumping back to her, she is a doctor. She studied, she received her PhD in education, I believe, which is a
Yeah.
legit, you have to like defend a thesis and all that shit. It's a lot of work. So that is a doctor. But then if she were to become a talk therapist and like try to
Yeah.
work with kids with stutters and try to,
or not talk there just like doing some sort of counseling,
yeah.
and then just like
She doesn't have her doctorate in her field, which would in this hypothetical
Yeah.
be counseling.
well, I know someone who's doing this. And
Billy's got his eye on you.
Beth, I'm coming at you, Beth.
Beth,
You know who you are, and you know what you did.
Hmm.
Fucked up a lot of lives.
Yeah, if you pass yourself off as a doctor, your doctorate should be in whatever field you're trying to promote yourself in.
Yeah.
Yes, agreed with that.
I believe, so when I was in college, we had to take tests on the AP style book. And I believe in the AP style book, it said you should only refer to people as doctor if they're medical doctors.
Really?
Which I think is a good practice to
What about
use.
Dr. Martin Luther King?
I believe in the AP style book, it was only refer to medical doctors as Dr. So-and-so.
It should be Mr. Martin Luther King.
He was a
Reverend.
Reverend Martin Luther King Jr.
What was his doctorate? I always forget this. Wasn't it like divinity?
I don't know.
Use doctor as a formal title on first reference to individuals with degrees in medicine, optometry, dental surgery, osteopathic medicine, podiatric medicine, or veterinary medicine.
Okay. Per the AP style book. The AP style book, what a crock of shit. All those, they just change rules every year just so that they can send out new.
Yeah, you have to
messages
get
and-
the updated one.
Yeah.
You gotta buy the
I hate
updated
AP
style book, and then we're gonna make college students relearn this shit every single year with
Yeah.
your stupid little rule changes.
Systematic theology was Martin Luther King's doctoral study.
Got it.
But yeah, I think a lot of people refer to him as Reverend Martin.
You know what's really competitive for schooling? Veterinarian school.
Veterinary school is
Yeah.
impossible to get into.
Yeah. Really hard.
I didn't know that.
I was thinking about it.
Also, if you think about it, that might be one of the hardest doctorates to get because you have to know every animal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
True.
not just like, oh, I'm a ENT or oh, I'm a, heart doctor. I got to know one part of one human.
But think about this. If you know all parts of many animals, you 100% know a human.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
let a vet take
Yeah.
care of me if I was injured and there was no doctor around. No
Yeah.
problem.
Isn't osteopathic medicine like fake doctors, though?
Yeah, kind of.
I don't know. I don't know what osteopathic is.
I
I would assume
functional medicine.
I would assume that osteo means bone.
Because they're not MDs, right?
No, they're ODs, I believe.
So that
Preventative medicine.
Okay. So it's like Alex Guerrero, Tom Brady's guy.
Treating the entire person as opposed to symptoms. That I don't have a problem with.
Yeah. Yeah. Preventative, like, fix your posture.
As someone who's currently dealing with hives and just getting treated for hives that just keep coming back and no one really knows what the fuck's causing them, kind of would like to meet with someone who might be like, hey, this might be doing it.
So, Billy, do we have an update on your condition?
No. Sucks.
You look like you don't have any splotches right now.
Yeah. But they
They're
pop
there?
up now and then.
Is there like a root cause? Like on
It's so random.
on days you have to podcast? Is it stress?
No.
Could be stress.
No. I'm not stressed.
It might be stress, Billy.
I might be stressed.
All right, we got another voicemail.
Yep.
Hey, this is Lucas from Lexington. Awesome show. Love all y'all do. But my question is, what is the last place you would want to visit? Mine would be Somalia or Mogadishu.
That's the same
And
place.
I just want to know
it's the
what your
capital.
all's opinions are, or where your all's least favorite places to visit would be. Y'all take care. Bye.
All right, good question. Shout out Lexington, to Kentucky. I have been to Lexington, and that is not the last place I would want to visit. We've got good whiskey there. Had a great time in Lexington.
Sneaky, while I despise the University of Kentucky, sneaky high on the list of SEC cities.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a small one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not that big, but it's a good town.
Yeah, I had great pizza there. Good whiskey.
Did you go to the Dave place?
I don't
Because
think
I went there after that went viral. It was very good.
this was like 2014, I think, was the last time I went to Lexington.
It's a good town. It's behind Nashville, Knoxville. A lot of people would put Athens high. I hate Athens.
Athens is fun.
It might be third.
Baton Rouge.
I've never been, but it doesn't seem like a place I'd love. But Lexington's high on my list.
Columbia, Missouri. Como. That's a cool place.
Is it?
Yeah, I like Columbia.
Really?
Yeah. Good college town.
Birthplace of Safe Space.
It's what?
Isn't it in Mizzou?
Birthplace of what?
They were one of the first very public ones to do that, yes.
Safe space?
Yeah, remember they had that circle?
Oh, yeah, like in the middle of their campus?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Tuscaloosa, never been.
Trash.
Auburn,
Good.
okay. Ole Miss is in what
Oxford?
town? Oxford, yeah, Oxford.
Mississippi. I think we can all agree dead last, Starkville.
Probably, yeah. Aaron, you played in the SEC. What was your favorite place to visit?
We never got out in the city at all. But like the best atmospheres, I think, for me was I loved playing in Kentucky. Like I just loved their vibe there. South Carolina was dope. But I probably LSU or Florida were probably the best stadiums to play in.
Yeah, I can
like
imagine
I said, we didn't
Gainesville would be
really-
fun.
Yeah, we didn't really like venture out into the town at all. So I can only speak to the game day atmosphere.
All right, but least favorite, where would you not want to visit? This guy said Somalia.
Antarctica.
Yeah, okay.
I
kind of want to go to
I would-
Antarctica.
really, honestly, I don't think there's a single spot on Earth I wouldn't want to be because I think I could have a good time anywhere.
Anywhere.
That's just my
Anywhere, huh?
mentality.
Anywhere.
When it comes to life.
Fallujah.
If I was in
Aleppo?
Fallujah, Aleppo, like, yeah, there's a war going on, but like, how many? I don't know. If I just had the right, if I was with the right people with the right equipment, I don't think I could be in any bad place. Like anywhere sucks without. If you were in New York City with, no money in your pocket, no shoes, no nothing, New York City would suck. If you were in anywhere, it's just like depends on the equipment you have with you.
It's a vibes thing.
The Sentinelese Islands.
I was good. That was
If
my
I
pick.
was in the Sentinelese Islands,
You'd be dead.
with a suit of armor,
No, he'd bring footballs.
I'd bring
To teach
footballs.
them about
Yeah, I'd
football.
literally be like, wait, let's play catch.
Are you guys
Yeah.
fast?
Billy is describing a really good beer ad campaign where you just go to the most terrible places on earth and like Kylie Jenner or Kendall Jenner hand him a fucking Coors Light and be like, just chill out.
Yeah.
And then everything is fine.
And then you party.
Yeah, nothing's ever bad happened introducing
I would like to buy the world a Coors.
isolated populations to alcohol has always gone great, right? Right?
Yeah, I can't think of a time that's gone wrong. Antarctica would definitely be up there on the list, but at the same time, how cool would it be to be hanging out with a bunch of penguins?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like polar bears.
Like
No,
people have
no,
fun.
Mad
everywhere.
Dog.
No.
Come on, Mad Dog.
No.
From a distance.
Do you know
polar-
about
no,
polar
no.
The
bears?
polar
No.
community is gonna have a field
No.
day
Oh,
with you,
wait,
Mad
what?
Dog.
No,
They are
did
the
you-
most vicious. Don't give
No,
a
Whoa,
fuck.
no,
No,
that's not even
no,
why she's
no,
wrong.
no,
Billy,
no.
Billy, talk to
No.
him.
all right.
Talk to him, Billy. Tell him.
Holy fuck.
Billy's having a crisis.
Holy
right
shit. We're having a Mean Girls moment live.
Now. Oh
No,
no!
don't do that to me.
Please.
Don't do that to me. It's not the same thing.
Penguins and polar bears have never met in the wild
You absolute fool!
because they're on two different ends of the earth.
Oh.
Polar bears are in
North.
the Arctic, the North Pole. Penguins are in the South Pole.
So there's no polar bears in Antarctica.
There's none.
zero
Oh,
polar
I
Never
look
been
like
there.
an idiot.
Now, Billy, you're an industrious young mind.
Uh-huh.
What if we introduced polar bears?
I wrote a paper on that in 4th grade. I
So
did.
what are the implications?
Well, because they were pushing the whole global warming that in 2015, this was in 2000.
Billy was in
Like
the pocket.
8.
Yeah,
Billy was in the pocket
2008.
of big oil as
Yeah,
a
they were saying that there won't be any more polar bears by 2015. It's 2022, 2023. There's still polar bears. So I was like, oh my god, all the polar bears are gonna die. Loved polar bears. Still my favorite animal on Earth. Shout out Gus the polar bear in the Central Park Zoo. But I was like, we should take all the polar bears and take them to Antarctica because they still have more ice than the North Pole, and they could still do all the hunting and stuff on the ice sheets in the Antarctic because there was just more ice.
But what would happen?
They wouldn't have the right prey sources.
Oh, I feel
There's
so
not.
dumb.
They could eat the fuck out of penguin. Penguins can't escape a polar bear.
Yeah, they probably would just switch, but there's certain things they like. Polar bears need to be on dry land sometimes. Like
Okay.
they can live their life all out on the ice, but some of them tend to go scavenge whale carcasses, and it would almost be like the situations would almost be too hostile for them in certain regards on the large ice sheets.
Polar bears can't play on the road.
Yeah, I mean it would be cool. Actually, let's see what the updated science is on that. Could polar
So here's my
bears
prediction.
live
Billy, would we talk about you narrating your Google searches?
Sorry.
Here's what I think would happen. Polar bears would get massive and fat and huge, and then they'd just take over Antarctica. There would be a polar bear explosion south of the border. And then penguins would only exist because I know penguins are I think there are some in New Zealand, and there are some in the Galapagos, which is the only place on Earth that has penguins above the equator. Either that or it's like the most northern point in the world that has penguins. But penguins, the problem with them is they're too friendly and trusting, and then they're slow when they try to walk. So if there were polar bears there, they would eat every penguin. It would be an all-you-can-eat penguin buffet.
Are there a lot of seals in Antarctica? Now I'm all thrown
Well,
off.
actually, now I'm rethinking this could be.
I believe there are seals, but
Like in sea lions or those? No.
I might be
Sea
wrong.
lions, I think, are warm.
Sea lions
Those are in San Diego.
yeah.
Yeah, this was the second paragraph of my essay. I'm remembering this. Polar bears would be a threat to native Antarctic
Yes.
life. Like they might end up eating all the penguins, but the penguins wouldn't be sustainable, so the polar bears would end up dying too.
It'd be kind of sick if there was a Joker of nature
Yeah.
that just it went up to the North Pole. This Joker captures one pregnant polar bear and then
Yeah.
flies to Antarctica and just completely ruins the entire continent.
Yeah.
That'd be so chaotic.
That would be insane. Because now that I think about it, walruses and seals are one of the main food sources for polar bears.
Fact.
But elephant seals are the Antarctica's walruses,
Yeah. I mean, polar bears don't have natural predators, right?
except humans.
Except humans. Yeah.
Remember, we're still number one.
Yeah.
Just remember that, because we got noggins.
Yep. Or you could send them to the South Pole and then have legalized hunting against polar bears.
Yeah, but you'd have to feed them.
Well, that's the penguins.
I know, but the penguins are also endangered.
Are they?
I think some like the emperor penguins they're only in one spot.
Okay.
But like elephant seals are some of my favorite animals to watch fight because it's the closest thing to like sumo wrestling in the animal kingdom,
Mm-hmm.
and they just go at it. They just like if you pull up a video of it, it's insane. It's like two, and they slap just their huge like bellies together.
Yeah.
It's insane. They're also like as big as a VW.
Okay. Any other places that you would not want to ever be?
Russia,
Just the entire country?
pretty much.
You can have fun in Russia.
Yeah, you could definitely have
like
fun
the
in Russia.
machine
I don't
is
know if
all
I'll-
based on.
As a woman, could I have fun in Russia?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, there are parts of Russia you could have fun in for sure.
I don't have any desire to go there.
Like I want to go to Moscow just
Especially
to
now.
see it.
Yeah, I
Right now, I wouldn't
Same
wanna
way
go
I'd
to
want to
Russia.
go to Finland, which is a new NATO country.
Congrats.
People are gonna be like, "Oh, comrade, Billy's coming out again."
Mhm. Yeah.
Their hot prime minister got voted out. Is that Finland?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh,
What happened?
yeah.
Oh no, what you doing with
Uh,
all her free time nowadays?
I don't know exactly, but she's done.
Is she down bad? Dunsky, that's a good term for
She needs a shoulder to cry on.
for a person in Finland who's really
I guess
going
it
through
is.
No,
Yeah.
That's a Polish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's donezo.
Maybe that's Italian. Depressed Italian. Dunzo.
Yeah.
Maybe I think Mogadishu, I have no real desire to go to Mogadishu. On the State Department website right now, that's where they tell you if you travel to Somalia, leave us a sample of your DNA and have somebody designated from your family that will be in charge of negotiating you as a hostage.
You're kidding. What?
No, it does. That's the official United States, because there's no law there. They can't protect you.
Oh my god.
We talked
Is it-
about
Wait, there's no law at all in Somalia?
Well, it's like
There's-
a bunch of
it's a failed state.
it's a bunch of rival.
I don't know anything about it.
It's a bunch of different factions of rival warlords that are always fighting with each other for power, and so if you're a Westerner and you go there, or even if you just live there, it's tough.
I told you all this on the show a couple months ago. You need to hire the local militia, whichever one's in control at that moment. You need to hire their services to take you into Mogadishu.
Is Mogadishu like their capital?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's where Black Hawk Down happened.
Mm-hmm. I have no desire to visit Saudi Arabia at the moment, unless they pay me millions of dollars to join the Live Tour.
I would visit anywhere. If the local militia in Mogadishu is like, come chill with us. Like they have tons of this old Italian colonial architecture. Like if you want to know why Somalia is fucked up, blame the Italians.
Good.
And then-
Yes.
And then like tons of like really cool mosques that are built. I'd love to see all that shit.
They've got good beaches there too.
Yeah.
Do some piracy.
Yeah, dude. I mean, how cool would it be? Like, yeah, whatever. It's bad, but whatever. But how cool would it be to be like a pirate for just a little? It's like just be embedded with some pirates.
Yeah. It would be fun. You'd have an
Yeah.
adventure.
Yeah.
I know you love adventures. You can keep me out of North Dakota.
What the fuck? North Dakota's sick.
Is it?
Have you ever been to the Black Hills?
No, I've never been there.
Wait, I may have
That might be
mixed up-
South
that
Dakota.
might be South
You might
Dakota.
be just a bunch of North Korea too.
Yeah.
I don't really want to visit there. Although, remember when Trump went over there to meet? He was going to meet with Kim Jong Un, and he was like, "You've got a bunch of like prime coastal real estate. We can build a bunch of luxury resorts and turn it into a tourist destination." I don't know. They might have some good land, some pristine land in North Korea.
Oh, you know where I think the Teddy Roosevelt library is in North Dakota. I'm going to go there one day and I'm going to film a video because Teddy, have you ever read about Teddy Roosevelt's time out in North Dakota?
I've not.
It's like where he literally found himself and yeah.
Oh, Nauru. I don't want to visit Nauru. That's probably my number one, actually.
What's that?
I think I'm pronouncing that right. Nauru. It's a tiny island that's. I forget what body of water it's in. Hang on, let me take a sip.
And what?
I think it's Nairu.
Oh, Nauru.
Nauru. Yeah.
Nauru.
Nauru. It's It's an island
Oceania.
that was established as like a landing spot, or I guess a deportation spot for people who were caught trying to illegally immigrate to Australia. And so it's just a flat rock with nothing on it. Apparently back in the day it had some minerals, maybe potassium. I forget exactly what they were extracting from there. But now it's just a flat rock that's filled with people that they just deport there, that Australia just stations on the island.
There's a Budapest hotel there.
Is there?
Yeah.
On Nauru?
I think that this might be a tourist attraction.
No, it's definitely not. It is quite literally a flat rock that has been stripped of all vegetation.
I'm looking at it on satellite right now. It's looking pretty green.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I've bought into propaganda about Nauru.
I would love to go to Svalbard, which is supposed to be like you can't go outside without carrying a gun because of the polar bears.
Where's that?
North of Norway.
I follow someone who lives there on TikTok.
Oh yeah.
Yes, and she loves it. She's obsessed with it.
Yeah.
But she does have to travel with a gun because of the polar bears.
Yeah.
I should have known. She always talks about them. But yeah. And they have no crime.
No crime in Svalbard. The cold keeps all the bad people out.
And it's dark for 6 months of the year all the time. There's no light.
That would suck.
That's what Prince
That's
used to say
depressing.
about Minneapolis. That
So-
everyone's nice there
Because it's dark all the time?
because the cold keeps the bad people out. Is that what Prince said?
Oh, yes. He did say that.
I'm looking at a picture of Nauru here. There are some trees on it, but it's very sparse. It's like right around the coast there are a couple trees, and there are some beaches, but doesn't look like a great place to be.
So is it literally just like a desert island that they put people on to like let die?
Not let die, but they definitely don't have a prosperous life there.
Yes, it says the only thing that they have there is the like airport quotes, which is like a strip to place people.
Yeah, Billy, when you say they have a Budapest hotel there, I don't know where this hotel is because you can see almost the entire island.
Budapest Hotel. It isn't.
It's not like a luxury
It's not-
hotel.
It's not the Grand Budapest Hotel.
So it just is a Budapest
yeah.
hotel.
Utilitarian oceanside lodging featuring free Wi-Fi.
I'm looking at it right now. It looks like the worst apartment complex in your city with a trailer next to it.
It's right next to Anabar Beach.
It has an electrical kettle in your room and a microwave.
Seems like it has all the necessities.
I'm looking at the gallery that they have there. It is, not what you'd think of when you hear Budapest Hotel.
Papua New Guinea, just looking at the map, places that are close, also wild place from what I've heard.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
what goes down in Papua New PNG?
Tons of mercenary groups fighting over mineral rights, but like there's no one there to report on it. So you'll have like Wagner Group guys out there battling like former South African mercenaries who like work for an Australian company now because
Would you have a good time there?
yeah, I'd just meet up with some dude like
Some bros.
there's always dudes everywhere across the world who will like sit in a bar and like tell war stories.
Can
or
always pop
wild
one with
stories.
the boys.
Yeah.
It's true.
Like literally, like name a place in the world. There's probably a couple places.
Yeah. Where are you thinking?
Like Qatar.
Yeah, you can. I had some beers with the boys in Qatar.
So yeah, really anywhere.
No desire to go
There,
back.
literally, you can go anywhere in the world and get beers with the boys.
I don't think that's true. I've heard you can't do that in Bhutan.
Bhutan.
Bhutan, I've heard, is like the one of the worst places in the world to visit because they're run by like a dictatorship. They've got some rules that are like North Korea light.
Now let me tell you something.
They're very unfriendly to outsiders.
Oh my God, Bhutan has never been colonized. That might be the only place you can't get beers with the boys.
Yeah.
Do you think in North
No.
Korea you can get beers with the boys?
If you're in the certain class, you can. If you're in the government pretty high up, your entire life is probably just beers with the boys until you get
A commoner.
Yeah, a commoner definitely not. No beers. They probably have like one type of alcohol there that they know how to make themselves, and it probably sucks and feels like you're drinking gasoline. and you get like your buddy smuggles it in once a year.
Oh, Bhutan has a huge brewery. Yes, craft beer. Yep.
Bruton.
The best beer dude, there's a lot of beer in Bhutan. They weren't colonized by the British, but yeah, dude, you get beers with the boys of Bhutan.
Okay.
Gotcha.
It should be a good question for Donnie too. We should ask Donnie. Is there any place you don't want to go?
Yeah.
I bet he'd say the Sentinel Islands.
I mean, Donnie was running towards the guy who he thought was about to like blow up.
it's a mark of a hero.
No, he was like just didn't care what he was doing.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, like
He
was
should.
giving him directions to the crowd of people.
All right, it's okay. Nobody got hurt.
Yeah.
All right, we have another voicemail.
Yep, one more.
Yo, what's up, guys? I'm Austin. I'm at UNH right now. I've had this question for a while. I always want to ask you guys if you are in a zombie apocalypse, if it's just going to happen right now, if you guys are at the office right now, and Arian, wherever you're at right now, if it happens at the second, what would be your first reaction? What would you do at this moment? You're sitting in the office, it's happening right in the streets downtown, and I'm not talking about some Walking Dead type zombie shit. I'm talking about some fast zombies. What would you do immediately?
I got it.
Love you guys. Thank you for all you do.
If we're here, it's different.
No, first thing I do is I have an axe at my desk. Thank you, Liver King. I tape my arms with duct tape so that if I got bitten, that's what a lot of animal handlers do, so you can't get bitten through your skin. I mean, he's talking about fast zombies. Escaping the city would be the hardest part. In the early parts of the apocalypse happening, streets are going to be crowded. Your best bet would be it would be hard. It would be very hard. Probably trying to barricade this building would be pretty easy. The only entry points to this building are in two places. I'm not going to talk about specifics because of security reasons, but we probably just try to hold out here until help would come.
What help is coming? It's a zombie apocalypse.
The thing is, we probably, if we tried to get out, like wait for the crowds of people to either all get killed or turn to zombies, and see the military will come in, try to slaughter as many as they can. They might get overrun, but you're going to see a lowering of population of zombies and people around at some point. And then we probably hold out here, ration the snacks. What I would want to do is try to get out of the city as fast as I could, but we're here, so we have to deal with what's here.
I think getting on a boat would be a good idea.
Yeah, but you'd have to get from here to the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have to get from here to the Hudson.
And I mean,
You're dying on the way there.
I mean, the best case scenario, call up Dirty Water Dawn, like meet us by, what's it called? Hudson Yards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, meet us by Hudson Yards and, pick us up on a boat. But like,
We could get to Hudson Yards in about 10 minutes on foot.
yeah, but you literally had to battle through Times Square coming down, like Madison Square Garden. We're in one of the highest populated areas. We'd be better off like waiting for some sort of help to come.
Waiting
because,
till nightfall.
I would jump on a city bike and just one of the electronic ones.
dude, you said fast zombies. If it was slow zombies, we're gearing up. We have some sort of Barstool shield that's in here. It's like a Captain America shield with
Yeah.
Barstool logo on it. I'm going out with my axe and shield, wrapping up my legs to make sure like I have a pair of boots at my desk, making sure I can get bit by zombies on the floor, and then just battling my way. Like if it's slow zombies.
Yep. How fast are we talking here?
Like, are we talking Last of Us fast? Because
He-
they're fast.
He
in
said Last of Us fast. He said this isn't Walking Dead. Walking Dead zombies, we probably actually have a decent chance of avoiding them just by being fleet of foot.
If you get to a boat, though, you're good because they can't swim to you. And even if they try, just kick them off as they're trying to climb up on the boat. What about you, Arian?
Probably hit up the local gun shop. Raid that motherfucker. Then go try to stock up on some canned goods, non-perishables. Then go grab my babies.
Arian
Kick
also has a
baby
basement.
moms in the face.
Yeah. You got a basement. That's nice.
No, I don't got no
Oh,
basement.
you don't have a basement?
Oh, it's Texas. Yeah,
Do Texas people not have basements?
for the most part.
Nah, there's floods, man. So the floods
Oh.
too much here.
I just
Yeah.
figured you have a house, you have a basement.
So
Nah, I got an attic.
we're talking about we're talking about Buc-ee's because we stopped in Buc-ee's in our most recent trip to Houston,
Jealous.
and Buc-ee's is a very nice store, very clean store, and I'm about to set Big T off with this take, but it's too much. Buc-ee's it's too big. I got overwhelmed in
Bugging.
Buc-ee's.
Bugging.
I
That's
went
what a
to
simpleton
problem.
would say.
I went into
It's
Buc-ee's
Too much for my small brain.
and I wandered around, and there was just too much stuff to choose from, and I panicked. I just bought a Diet Dr. Pepper, Dr. Pepper Zero, and then walked out of the store, and I was like, I couldn't make up my mind about what I wanted. If I want
Fucking
beef
Yankee.
jerky.
Yep. Yep.
Get your ass up out of here, fam. It ain't for you, dogs. That's a you problem. There's too many options. Who says that?
There
Someone
were.
with a tiny brain.
Too many high quality options with an amazing place to go to the restroom.
You'd be a
This
bad
place is
quarterback.
I'd be a
It's
bad
horrible.
quarterback.
There was a lot of recruiting coaches, if they take out quarterbacks to a restaurant, they'll take them to like a diner with many choices.
Oh, I love diners.
And they want to but like they want to make sure that they make their choice within like a very succinct
sound like
amount of
cap.
time.
That sounds like
sounds
some
like
draft day nobody went to his birthday shit.
Mm-hmm.
No,
He couldn't decide if he wanted the patty melt or if
I've
he
never
wanted
heard of that.
the hamburger.
Never
For-
heard of that one time.
for quarterbacks just to see their decision making skills.
Nope, never heard of that shit.
That was something I heard growing up.
Where'd you hear that from, Billy?
I think I heard it from a quarterback coach.
How would they even know unless you verbalize like, oh, I really don't know if I want this or this? They could just look at the menu and be doing that all in their head. I don't think like when I go to a restaurant, I don't like talk about.
No.
Where's the data correlating your food choice to your decision making on a 4th and 3? Like,
I think the story was that a guy like a famous coach was recruiting a quarterback. He took him to a restaurant and asked the waitress to come up and ask for his order really quickly, and that he would order first, the coach, and then try to hurry up the quarterback who was choosing.
Like a blitz.
Yeah, and see what his choice was on his feet and whether he really got what he wanted.
See if he had a hot read ready to go.
Yeah, and basically it was to judge his decision making, and like you're playing quarterbacks a lot of 1, 2, 3 options, checking all your options, see what's the best option, and make that decision in the moment, and like relay the communication or make the right choice.
I think I saw this. I saw this online a couple weeks ago, and friend of the show, Sexual Jumanji, his response was nothing. I already ate because I come prepared. That's a good answer.
What?
Show them that you're prepared, like you already ate.
Huh?
Wild Boy would go to dessert first. Just get the cheesesteak right off the bat, or cheesecake right off the bat.
I've been ordering milkshakes a lot lately with meals.
I could tell.
Yeah. Hey.
Billy's got the goatee growing in right now. Check out the YouTube to look at Billy's goatee. He looks like Kyle Trask.
Well, it's hoping that it slims my
He
face.
does look
'cause
like Kyle Trask.
I've
doesn't
been
it?
putting on some weight, so
Yeah, now you got
goatee's slimming.
a battle with Baker.
Yeah.
All right, we have any more voicemails?
No, that's it.
Okay, Buc-ee's. I'm not talking shit on Buc-ee's. It was
You're talking shit on yourself.
too much. It was too much for me to make a
Right.
decision.
This is a self-own.
It is. Maybe it is. Although I did say
by far your worst take you've ever had.
I did say that if you locked me in a Buc-ee's, I think it like the zombie apocalypse situation. I think you could survive in a Buc-ee's until you died your natural course of life. I think that there's enough stuff in there where you wouldn't die of starvation.
The diabetes might kill you.
There's plenty of water and Gatorades, and I guess Gatorade has sugar in it. There's plenty of water.
Anyway, that just shows you would be a terrible SEC quarterback.
It does.
Yeah. They probably walk into Buc-ee's and they go boom, boom.
There you go, brisket sandwich.
Yeah. That's the touchdown play.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got lost in the quaint home signs that they had there. If you have a lake house, go to Buc-ee's and you can just furnish your entire building.
Great home goods section. There's everything.
Yep.
But your tiny brain can't comprehend that.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not. But I'm looking at deep fried Cajun pecans on one side. In front of me, I got the beef jerky. To my left, I have every snack under the sun. If I go to a I mean, Mad Dog, you know, as somebody who's an aficionado of roadside food courts and
Yes, I
gas
am.
stations in Ohio.
Yeah.
If I go in, sometimes I find comfort in having a limited selection of snacks because it makes it very easy for me to figure out, okay, I want the Cheez-It Grooves. I don't want the Funyuns, you know?
Yeah. And then at that point, it's like, oh, at least for my Ohio rest stops, it's like, I don't want to go to this one because this one doesn't have the Sbarro or the whatever.
Yeah.
So you got to make a thing out of it. But I want to go to a Buc-ee's more than anything.
Very, very nice restrooms. Great restrooms in the Buc-ee's.
Someone sent me, oh shoot, what were they called? Like they were like, oh shoot, like droppings, like beaver droppings or something.
Beaver nuggets.
Yes,
Those are good.
those are really good.
I like the Buc-ee's beaver nuggets.
I don't know what they are, but they're really good.
It's like
It's a corn pop type,
yeah.
yeah.
but sweeter.
Yeah, it's got salty and sweet in it. The beaver nuggets are good. I did, for the record, I got the Cajun pecans, the fried Cajun pecans. Very, very good.
Glad your brain could finally decide on something.
On my second trip in, I sat in the car and I said I was overwhelmed. And Spider was like, "Go back inside, King. We'll
Now-
wait for you."
Now, were you in the car? Because apparently there was a car full of Buc-ee's haters from this office. Were you in that vehicle?
I was not in that vehicle. I was in a car of people that really enjoyed what they got from Buc-ee's.
Okay.
But they agreed with me that there's too much stuff. Titus was with me at the time.
Oh, so you were in the car of haters. Titus, Max.
No, Titus was in my car. Max was in the other car.
Okay. I
Yeah.
heard they were in the same one. But I heard there were 2 cars full of haters then.
Well, I'd say like one and a half cars.
Okay.
I wasn't hating on. I was just like, it's too much. I got overwhelmed. I'm sorry. I got overwhelmed inside of
Bro,
Buc-ee's.
you want to go somewhere where you have options.
Sometimes,
Not too many.
but too many options. Like there are people with shopping carts, like full shopping carts, like
yeah,
on a grocery
be
run.
prepared.
Yeah, they had some good smokers outside. They got everything.
You
at
didn't
Buc-ee's.
plan. You weren't prepared.
I was not prepared. Also, maybe this has something to do with it. I had already eaten because I didn't know that we were going to stop at a Buc-ee's.
So then pick up a
if
snack.
Eaten, not eaten, it doesn't matter when you walk into Buc-ee's.
I'm sorry, Buc-ee's. I did buy a T-shirt though.
That's
Bought a
good.
Buc-ee's shirt because I think I support Buc-ee's in theory, but maybe it was a bad time, bad place for me. If I hadn't had breakfast, I probably would have gone in there hungry
That's
and been like,
nervous-
"Oh, I want this."
You
nervous
Brandon
bird
Miller,
energy.
handshake me in wrong place, wrong time.
yes, exactly.
I think you just need to go in there with someone that has like expertise in a Buc-ee's. Like
I-
if you went in with Big T, you would have
Yeah,
you would have
you
known
need
what to do.
hand-
I don't even
Handheld.
consider myself a Buc-ee's expert. I've been like 3 times, but that's why they're so magical. Like it's a rare experience that you only get to have every so often.
Yeah,
You start seeing the signs on the highway 50 miles, 40 miles. You feel that tingling.
I've had great experiences at Buc-ee's in the past. This was not my first Buc-ee's, and I've
Sounds
loved
like your first
I've
Buc-ee's.
loved Buc-ee's in the past. I enjoy their restrooms. I've enjoyed their food selection. This one time I went in and I was like, "This Buc-ee's is too much for me
No,
right now."
you literally walked in and you should have been like, "This ain't my first rodeo. This ain't my first Buc-ee's," and you look like an amateur in there.
I did. It was an amateur
Absolute
performance.
rookie.
You folded.
It was an aberration. It's my one and only time having a bad experience at Buc-ee's. Also, I asked them if they could point me to like the part of the store that had any sort of medicine in it because I need some Pepsid AC for heartburn. And the guy sent me there's one tiny aisle that has any sort of medicine in it. They only had Tums, and I needed something harder than Tums at the time, so I was disappointed that they did not carry my antacid of choice that I wanted. That was a negative experience.
No,
I mean, that
that's-
sounds like an excuse.
No, that's why you didn't have a good time is because you were having
No,
stomach
this
problems.
sounds like an excuse.
That's just a fact.
were you
weak
like
stomachs
like you were sweating? You were like
I was sweating a little bit. I mean,
Mhm.
I'd just been in Houston, Austin, and Lake Charles, Louisiana for about 5 days, so I was dealing with some indigestion.
yeah, and you're doing the stomachache sweats.
Yeah.
No one can have a good time when you're having the stomachache
Yeah, so
sweats.
this might have been a more personal experience.
This is
that I
why
had.
Lamar hasn't been signed.
Yeah, good
Cut-
point.
Digestive issues
Yep,
causing bad decision making.
I got to be better. Next time at Buc-ee's, I'm going to show up and I'm going to show out, and I'm going straight to the freshly prepared food section, and I'll get a breakfast taco, and I'll enjoy it. So
I,
I
wanna
hope
go.
so for your sake, because
I blew this Buc-ee's
this was
experience. I blew
this
it.
was disappointing to hear.
I actually agree with you guys. I don't think that it's really a Buc-ee's. If you're having a crisis of stomach acid reflux and you go into a Buc-ee's after already eating, so you're not hungry, you might not have the best time. Also, very limited Coke selection there. They had about infinity different styles of Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper's strawberries and cream, full sugar, real sugar Dr. Pepper,
Yes, as they should.
cherry vanilla Dr. Pepper.
Yes.
We don't get
Dr.
Coke when
Pepper
you go
Zero.
to Buc-ee's. You get the Buc-ee's sarsaparilla. That's what you
Okay,
get.
well, I fucked that one up too. So I ended up going out with a Dr. Pepper Zero, which is fantastic. But I was looking for a cherry Coke Zero or a cherry vanilla Coke Zero, and they had just like 4 options of Coke that you could have. They had Diet Coke, caffeine free, Coke heavy. Actually, they only had 3.
What's
They
Coke
only-
heavy?
Just regular
Oh,
Coke.
just Coke.
Do they have Mexican Coke?
No, they didn't. They only had 3 types of Coke, and they had probably 12 different types of Dr. Pepper.
Arian, you know what they do have at Buc-ee's that's hard to find is the Dr. Pepper Icy.
Ooh.
Seen it.
At least they do at the one in Cookeville, Tennessee. Shout out.
I should have gotten the
My way to
sarsaparilla. It's gonna haunt me if I had to do it all over again. Okay, we're moving on. We're on to the next Buc-ee's.
The way you're talking about your Buc-ee's experience is remind me of how I was reacting when I thought the guy had a gun in his backpack, like kind of freezing up.
I froze in a big moment.
Do I tackle him?
Bad SEC quarterback.
What's
That's
sarsaparilla?
It's
Root
like
beer.
yeah,
Mm.
birch beer, sarsaparilla, root beer, kind of all
Mm.
fruits from the same tree. All right, solid episode.
That's all she wrote.
We'll see you guys next week. I think I've booked large to talk Japan.
Also, Mr. Foster will be with us.
Mr. Foster will be with us. We got some big guests coming up.
We have a big week next week.
I would say one of our most recent white whales has agreed to come into the studio for an interview. So I'll just leave it at that.
Let's brainstorm some white
It's
whales.
an actual, like, massive guest.
Yes, we have a massive guest coming next week. Now,
A couple.
I would not be surprised if this person, I'm not specifying male or female, changed their mind. It wouldn't shock me
About coming on our show.
about coming on a
If
show.
it was like a prank, that'd be funny.
I'm still not convinced that y'all have been in contact with the actual people who would say this person can come on.
We
I
have.
think it might be, but I hope they do.
This is a sick and sadistic April Fool's joke that Mackenzie and I are playing on you guys.
Wait, did you send that text to us on April Fool's?
Wait, did I?
No,
No,
it was
I
a
sent
day or
it
two
Monday.
after.
Because I've heard from other people that have also talked to me about this interview, and so if you told like 5 people to lie to us, I would be furious.
No,
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
not-
think Madeline
Word
and Big T
spread
were in
quickly. People
earlier.
started coming up to me yesterday being like, y'all are getting that person?
Yeah.
Is this like a yak prank?
What
No.
yak prank?
No.
No, this
It's
is
going to
not
be
a
an
prank.
awesome, it's going to
No.
be an awesome interview.
All right. We'll see you guys next Tuesday. Love you guys.